Hey, what's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the 2023 season of Off the Ball podcast. We are joined today with my co-host Nick from last season. How you doing?
Always doing great. It's the start of the season, so I'm not pissed off yet.
Very, very true. And we got our
Mhm.
third new co-host, Chad. He was a guest last year, multiple times here on the podcast. We brought him in as the third co-host, so we're going to be bringing him in all season long, and then we're going to be bringing guests on sporadically through the season. How you doing, Chad?
I hate that I'm here, but I'm here.
Oh, what a pessimist.
uh,
Oh God, I'm just kidding. I'm so excited to do a full year of this. I think this is gonna be a lot of fun and really funny, and I think we're gonna produce some awesome content. And well, you and I are. Nick's here too, but it's gonna be a lot of fun.
no, I think it's going to be a blast, and we are going to address this first and foremost. I am
No, no,
dressed
no. We
up
don't need to
as
address
a
anything. We don't need
goddamn
to.
clown
We
because
didn't notice.
you didn't notice. No one noticed. Like I was dressed up as a clown. Nick had cowboy jerseys. It was all the same. You know what I'm saying? Chad's a Giants fan, so like it all works out. We're three clowns making a podcast together. But
Hey, at least our quarterback isn't Kyler Murray.
I mean, you both would want Kyler Murray. Fuck out of here. Over Daniel Jones and Dak Prescott? Come on.
Yo,
No.
Daniel Jones is top 5 quarterback in the NFL, hands down, write it
Okay,
in
okay.
All right,
stone.
so
You're high.
this is gonna be Chad's last podcast. Just kidding.
Well, goes back down to two hosts.
Goes
Thank
back
you,
down to
Chad.
two O's.
Well, that was quick. We made it 3 minutes. All right, guys.
But as always, we're joined here. We're going to be going over the draft reports for this upcoming season. I think we just might as well just jump right back into it. I guess let's just go ahead and start with the Easy Dubs League. Who won the Easy Dubs League last year? Or, oh,
Oh,
sorry.
well, Isaiah won it. He had a great victory at the end of the season. He pulled out the championship. He took home the winnings. So I would say that Isaiah is the champ.
Isaiah is definitely the champ, but like it just seems like the end of last season was such like there was a lot of drama at the end of last season. So
I can answer
hopefully
that for you, bullshit.
Oh, that was with the it did was that with the Bills game, right?
that was
And
the
Mhm.
Bills Cincy game.
and yeah,
When
that messed up everything last
Yeah,
year.
I mean, it didn't
everything
mess up everything. I mean, Isaiah won,
he won.
so Isaiah's pretty happy. He won the championship finally, so we're happy for him.
Yeah, we're so happy for him. Like he got to win the championship, fair and square that he won the championship because someone died on the field. But other than that, let's go ahead and go over the Easy Dubs League. This is a league that it started off as a work league, and now I believe everybody that's in it actually does work where we work. So it's pretty cool to have everybody in the league participating at
Hmm.
work. So let's go ahead and go over the draft report for that league. Let's get it pulled up here. Nick, how do you feel about the draft this for this one?
Well, as you can see, when I finally pull this damn thing up, right there. See, I feel that that's a fairly accurate draft score for me.
Okay.
Feels if I did very well. I don't agree with the 2-12. But they got to do what they got to do and lie. I just wish they wouldn't put it on here.
So as you can see from the graph below, that is the draft order that they were in. So Zane had the first overall pick, with Isaiah going second, Nick went third, Chris was in fourth place, I was in fifth place, Damien, Matt, Theo, Shelby, and then Natalie, who was the runner-up last year, she drafted in 10th
Runner up.
place. Runner-up. But as you can see from the draft, there's there's some pretty bad grades in this draft.
You know what I see in this, honestly, because if you actually look at the players everyone has, what I see with this is just a very, very competitive league. Um, I mean, anytime Chris wins anything is a miracle. So this is obviously flawed. But no, I honestly I looked at everyone's teams and I went over and I was looking at who everyone got, and it's going to be a competitive league again this year. It's going to be, I think, tighter than last season. Then we will actually have like a real champion this year.
Yeah, it will be nice to have a real champion this year. We did switch up a couple, so we do have a couple new people in the league this year. That's going to be Zane and Shelby. They took over 2 spots that were in the league last year. I mean, just looking at this, unfortunately, they did not draft that well. Shelby is predicted to have a B minus, going 2-12, tied for 9th. Zane sitting at a C plus, a projected record of 4-10, sitting in 8th place. I mean, they're not off to a strong start. I will say that.
I mean, I appreciate their contribution to the league.
Yeah. I mean, we'll always take their $30. Chad was actually in town for this draft. Chad, what kind of vibes were you getting during this first draft here?
It's a great question, Adam. Everyone seemed to be in a everyone seemed to be in a good mood. Everyone seemed to be having fun. The vibes were everyone was tripping. Everyone was tripping in their own right. I kind of hung out with Nick a little bit and chit-chatted with him towards like the middle half of this draft. Him and Natalie.
Chad told me who to draft, hence the C.
Yeah. And that's on you for listening to me. But I feel that I feel that was a good draft. I think that I think that everyone's gonna lose but Chris, and Chris is gonna go undefeated the whole season. And I'm happy for him for that.
Oh, you're happy for him, huh? Chris really needs a season where he does well. Like last year, he missed the playoffs. The year before that, he lost in the championship. Like I feel like Chris is like he's trending well. Like he draft like all throughout. We'll see throughout all the leagues, but he drafted really well this year. So we'll see how his team sticks together. I think there is a typo on the draft grade because I think he got an A plus because he's sitting at first. Besides an A minus. But other than that, like he's projected to go 13-1. We could take a quick gander at his team to see what kind of superstars he has on that roster. So let's jump over to the NFL app, and this is this league, Easy Dubs.
Chris is Hitting Rugs.
Hitting Rugs. So we'll go down to Hitting Rugs. Classic name, by the way. He definitely loves DUIs. I don't fucking know. I don't get it. But we'll look over his team real quick since this is the quote unquote person to beat in the league. So right off the start, we got Justin Fields. How do you guys feel about Justin Fields?
He's a running quarterback.
We'll see. I think he had a good breakout year last year. I think he did really well. We'll see if he's found his throwing arm this year. I think it's necessary for him this year. I think they now got down that he's going to run. They're going to prepare for that. So if he can find his throwing arm, I think he's going to be really, really great.
Okay. Understandable.
That's a good assessment, Nick. I think him being healthy and staying healthy is going to be a lot. This is going to be the first full season where the game plan is literally for him to run every game. And so it's going to be interesting, because he's a lot tinier than like Lamar and Allen and Mahomes are. Not a lot tinier, but he's definitely a smaller frame than they are.
I mean, he's no Kyler Murray. He's not that small.
Yeah, he's not that small.
No.
But I don't understand why he had to take a straight shot at my boy, but okay. But so going on from that, he has a really good Justin Fields. Like he's a running quarterback. I do see that he has Tua Tagovailoa on his bench. So a little cause for concern there with Tua's injuries last year. He kept getting concussed, but looking from like the draft reports and like everything going forward, looks like Tua put on some weight. So we'll see if that actually translate into him, staying healthier throughout the season. But I mean, he came out swinging. He's got Tua on the bench, and then he's got right there with them, he's got Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. So I mean, if Tua
can handcuff that,
if Tua hits form, I mean, that's automatic points every week for him. Like, he's got a really good wide receiver core, along with, DK Metcalf. So he's probably putting Waddle in there at the flex. So Tua starts throwing some touchdowns to Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill. He has a nasty little combo there.
Agreed.
Yep.
What are you guys thinking about his running backs? He's got Josh Jacobs paired up with David Montgomery.
They're
Josh Jacobs.
solid.
Go ahead.
solid. I mean, that's really it. I mean, I think Jacobs obviously has the most upside here. And we'll see. David Montgomery, new system. Um, Lions are so hit or miss in how they run their offense, so it'll be interesting. But the Lions had a really nice second half of the season last year. It's going to be nice to see if they continue to keep that momentum moving forward this season. And David Montgomery is definitely a running back that can catch the ball. It'll be interesting to see how they end up utilizing him in their offense. I just feel like that's it. Detroit's offense is a wild card. I feel like from game to game, you never really know what you're going to get out of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no,
I also think that Josh Jacobs is definitely going to have a worse year than last year. Now, that's not saying much. I mean, he had 1,600 rushing yards last year, and I don't know, 1,050 touchdowns or something like that. But no, I mean, I definitely think he's going to have a downtrend this season. He'll still probably be over 1,000 yards, which is great for Chris. But I think it's slightly inflated because of last year.
Because of last year. Oh yeah, no, definitely. I feel like Josh Jacobs at last year there was a lot of people ready to dump him. There was like come week 4, week 5, there's a lot of people that were ready to trade him out because he wasn't performing. Then he had he had a few games where he popped off. People started investing a lot into him, and now he's getting drafted in the first, second round of fantasy football. And I don't see the upside there. I mean, they got Jimmy G over there. He's going to be dumping the ball off to him, and then he's also got Devontae Adams over there. They lost Darren Waller. I feel like there's not enough threats on the Raiders to sustain Josh Jacobs the way he did last year. I feel like a lot more teams are going to target him specifically because if they put 2 on D Adams, they put someone watching Josh Jacobs. I feel like the Raiders don't really have anything else at that point.
So what you're saying is pick up Hunter Renfrow now?
I mean, Hunter Renfro's never a bad guy to have. Like he's going to sit on your bench.
He had a rough year last year.
Yeah, he had a rough year last year, but I mean, Devontae Adams didn't have the best year last year when they pulled Derek Carr. So
True.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. It's a wild card. Like his running backs are not the strongest. I'll say that. Like where his team shines is going to be his QBs because he's got a running QB and then he's got 2 in his pocket. He's got really great receivers with DK Metcalf, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle. He's got
Kadarius Toney even.
Kadarius Toney. He's got the Kansas City Chiefs defense. I don't see. Does he have? Yeah, he's got Gabe Davis, which is a solid. He's a solid flex player when you need him, but he's not going to be consistently putting up the points for you. I see George Kittle here. How are you guys feeling about George Kittle?
Which injury? Which week?
Yeah, you said it perfectly. Can the guy even give you 10 games this season?
Well, not only on top of that, like there's so many weapons in San Francisco this year. I mean, McCaffrey, he gets the ball 2 out of the 4 downs. They got Deebo Samuel. They got Brandon Ayuk. At this point, is Kittle out there blocking? Like, what is he doing?
Probably no. He's probably more involved. I'd rather who would you rather the Bulls' hands be in, George Kittle or Christian McCaffrey? And there's your answer. You don't even need to answer the question because everyone knows the answer to that question.
Deebo Samuel over Kittle.
Deebo Samuel over Kittle. I mean, I personally would throw the ball to Brandon Ayuk over Kittle at this point. I mean, Ayuk has shown that he's a reliable receiver. He can get you those yards after the catch. And, I mean, it's just it all boils down to is how good Brock Purdy is going to be over there, how he can spread out the ball over there for them. But I do like the tight end at George Kittle for his team. He's got David Njoku down there as well on the bench. But, I mean, let's be honest here. Tight end, if you don't have Travis Kelce, it's a coin flip in that position, right?
I'll tell you this much.
Andrews in there. You can throw Mark Andrews in there too.
Even I don't see 13-1 team. You don't see a 13-1 team?
Can I counter you here, Nick? Okay. I will say, if Fields has a breakout year, if Jacobs gives 80% of what he did last year, if Montgomery gives 80% of what he gave last year, and if Tua can stay healthy this season, I think he definitely has a number one team. But if Tua gets hurt this year, that's an issue because Tua's got to be throwing the ball to those two guys.
Yeah, I mean he banked a lot on the Miami Dolphins here.
Mm-hmm.
Because two, like you said, Tua goes down, so does Tyreek Hill, so does Jalen Waddle. So like that's two of his biggest threats on wide receiver position.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, he's playing Kadarius Toney, which is decent, but he's not your starter. He's playing Gabe Davis, which is decent, but he's not your starter. So
Mm-hmm.
the production there, he's banking a lot on. Even if Tua's on his bench and he's playing Justin Fields every week, he's banking a lot on Tua being healthy.
Yeah. If the
Yeah.
team has tremendous, I think that's why he's ranked so high because every single player on his team has tremendous upside. At least his starters
Mm-hmm.
have tremendous upside. It's just almost all of them have asterisks attached to them in
Yeah.
regards to like Metcalf will stay healthy. Everybody else, it's sort of just like, well, and Waddle and Tyreek are not even about health; they're about their quarterback. It's like
Who can
because
get
if
them the ball?
Tua goes down and then Skylar Thompson comes in, uh,
Yeah, their production goes
Yeah,
down.
but is
Yeah.
Metcalf the wide receiver of choice that week? Because they have their big two, and week on, week off, you never know who's going to be chosen that week.
Yeah, it's either Lockett or Metcalf. Like neither one of
Mm-hmm.
them both pop up at the same time. It's
didn't
either
they draft a receiver last year? Is Kenneth Walker? Yeah, didn't they draft Kenneth Walker last year
he's a running
in
back.
He's
the
sitting
first
right there.
round?
He's a running back.
He's a running back.
Yeah, Kenneth Walker to the third. He's their number one running
This
back.
guy on the podcast.
Yeah,
Clown.
but so I do see Damian Pierce on his bench right there, which is a good back. Like last year, he had a really good start, kind of fell off towards the end, but the Houston Texans fell off towards the end. So if they
Yeah.
can keep the momentum going from the beginning of the season, I can see him swapping out Damian Pierce with David Montgomery and being one of those teams where it's just hard to beat them because anybody on that roster can pop off.
Yep.
Yeah.
So looking at that, so me and Nick are in this league. So let's take a gander on our teams real quick. My team over here looking like, I mean, it's looking like a good run here, boys. It's looking like a good run here. We got Joe Burrow starting off in QB. We got Aaron Jones and Travis Etienne as my running backs. We got Mike Evans and Devontae Adams as my wide receivers. Got, the man himself, Travis Kelce, number one overall pick. We got Christian Kirk in the flex position, and then we go on down to the bench. We got Devon Acne. So he is a rookie that they drafted this year. In my opinion, he has a lot of potential. I drafted him more late in the rounds, just as a kind of like a Damian Pierce vibe from last year. Like he was great in college. Let's see what he could do. Miami's a little different. They have a whole stable of running backs over there, so we'll never know who exactly is going to be their running back one. But he could benefit a lot if he receives that spot because Tyreek Hill is going to be double covered. Jalen Waddle, he's gonna have coverage all over him. So I'm banking on this guy being a star later in the season. We got Brees Hall there. Solid RB2 or RB1. We got Evan Hull. I picked him up recently because Jonathan Taylor is not going to be playing for 4 weeks. So I picked him up. He's another rookie stud. We got Brandon Ayuk and Mike Williams. I mean, they speak for themselves. And we got Hayden Hurst. I picked up Hayden Hurst today because there's a possibility that Kelsey doesn't play tomorrow, and so I can just slot him in there if need be. But I'm pretty sure Kelsey's playing tomorrow.
I'm pretty sure Kelsey's in.
I mean, it's a hyperextension for the knee. I don't think that's going to keep him out of Week 1 game, especially with playing against Detroit. I mean, Detroit on paper looks nasty this year. So, I mean, they could come out swinging on Kansas City. We got Matt Gay, and then we got the New England Patriots. So, what are you guys thinking of my team this season?
If I'm being
Honestly,
honest, I don't love your bench at all. There's potential in your bench, but I don't feel comfortable in it. How many people are in this league?
10 people.
Okay, I expect you to do better than Christian Kirk in your flex in a 10-team league. And I don't love Mike Evans. I love everything else about your team, though.
Mm-hmm. I see a better starting lineup minus Mike Evans than Chris's, or on par with Chris's at least. Minus Mike Evans, and then your bench is
My bench
It's a
is
B minus.
my
It's a
my.
B minus. It's a B minus, Adam. That's your bench. Your bench
Oh
is a B
well, I mean,
minus.
the NFL fantasy app would rate this an A. So I mean,
Yeah,
we
well,
can think about what we. I mean, I'll take you guys into consideration, but I mean, you guys are talking about my bench. I got Brees Hall there. I mean, I got two rookies. I got Brandon Ayuk, who's a known entity. I got Mike Williams, who's a known entity. I mean, the only one
Ayuk.
that you could really
Sure.
say that is questionable is the Hayden Hurts, and I picked him up yesterday just because there's a possibility of Kelsey not playing.
So Brees Hall coming off an injury. They have Aaron Rodgers there now. I don't think he's going to be as relevant as you think he is. You've got an RB2 that's filling in for an RB1. Brandon Ayuk, sure. I think you should put Brandon Ayuk instead of Mike Evans, honestly.
Instead of Mike
Mike
Evans?
Williams is an injury wide receiver. So if there's an injury, he's great. If there's no injuries, he's eh. That's how I feel about your bench.
Okay,
And
okay.
I can't talk. I have a worse grade than you do. But that's how I feel about that.
I mean,
I think your starting lineup, Mike minus Mike Evans, rivals Chris almost.
okay, okay. How you guys feeling about Aaron Jones, Travis Etienne? They're the
I,
ones I'm most
I'm
questionable about.
I'm big on ETN this year. If I'm being honest, he was in I think in two of my three leagues, I picked him up. And he was taken and he was taken I believe one
Ooh,
pick before me in another one.
maybe I want to drop him then, Adam.
So you should. I mean, listen, if you want to get to the semifinals, just follow my lead, my boy. uh, but and I mean, look, Aaron Jones is just solid, bro. Like Love's going to be utilizing him as much as he can because his two best weapons there are Christian Walker and Christian Watson, excuse me, and Aaron Jones. And Aaron Jones is he's the workhorse back there. You know what I'm saying? And I don't expect any different. He hasn't shown any sign of slowing down or aging, and I don't expect that to be this year. I think that's another 3 years out, to be honest with you. I that's my favorite. Well, no, Joe Burrow is my favorite part about your team, but
Shiesty?
you are hyper strong at starting running back, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I feel like my wide receivers. I mean, Devontae Adams is definitely my stud. Wide receivers, I didn't get as many as as many good ones as I really wanted to. I'm really hoping Brandon Ayuk comes in and becomes a stud on that team, so that I can play him every week in my flex. I mean, at that point, he might even become the starter over Mike Evans. Um, Mike Evans is a known commodity. Last year, kind of, had a bad year last year. I don't think
I
he
think it's going to
has.
be worse this year.
I don't think he has a bad year again. But I'm really banking on. I'm really banking on my running backs here. And usually I draft the opposite, like you'll see in my other leagues. I draft the opposite. I really go hard with wide receivers because, in my opinion, they're a lot more reliable at that position. They're going to get you. They're not going to get you like the 30 points every week, but they're going to get you the 15 to 20 points. But they're going to stay healthier than a running back will. So this year I kind of went with the opposite of what I normally do. I'm really happy with the Joe Burrow pick. Really happy with the Travis Kelsey pick, the Devontae Adams, known commodities, known superstars. The rest,
Yeah.
like it's almost the same scenario with Chris's team. As long as everybody stays healthy and performs to their known standards, I should have an easy go out of this year. But it's another thing where if people stay healthy.
Right. Yeah. That's always so crucial.
Let's go ahead and jump in to. Oh my God, there's so many goddamn Cowboy fans. It's disgusting. Let's go ahead and jump into Nick's class or Nick's team. You want to go ahead and start us off?
Sure. Well, I kind of picked a quarterback a little bit too late. I mean, I'm good for 15, 20 a week. So Kirk Cousins will get me 15 to 20 a week. He is 100% mid. So I mean, I'm okay with that. I guess I have to be. I'll pick up someone. I think Trevor Lawrence. I'm probably going to move up, honestly, because I have him on the bench right now. But we'll see. I think it's going to be a matchup, and I think Trevor Lawrence is going to have a breakout season. I think he improved so much last season, and I think it's only going to get better this year.
100%.
Unless you guys disagree.
Nope, 100%.
Yeah.
Who, Trevor
I picked
Lawrence?
Boston. Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, I'm looking at your team right now. As starting quarterback, I picked Trevor Lawrence over Kirk Cousins.
Oh, 100%. I just haven't had a chance to rearrange this.
Okay, gotcha.
I've been so busy lately, so
I'm
I
like,
haven't had a chance to set my lineups.
personally, I'm super high on Trevor Lawrence this year. I think he's going to have a
Mm-hmm.
breakout year this year. I think people were getting him in the 5th, 6th round, and I think they got a steal for what they were getting him at. I mean, if you didn't get Holmes, Hurts, or Josh Allen in the 1st or 2nd round, I feel like Trevor Lawrence in probably the 5th, 6th round is probably the safest bet at that point.
Yep.
It definitely has the most upside. That's what
Yeah.
I will say with that. It has by far the most upside of any other quarterback in the NFL right now.
Especially against Indianapolis this week. Like, they're a dumpster fire. They're still trying to figure themselves out. So I think there's going to be, since they have no running back, they have receivers. I mean, you got Pittman, but it's. I
No,
think especially
Pittman's
this
a
week.
Giant now, isn't he? Wait,
Pittman,
who was the receiver that the Giants signed from the
I
Colts?
don't think it was it Pittman?
I
I
don't
don't
I don't
think it
know.
was
Well,
Pittman.
no, it wasn't Pittman.
No, it
Ignore
wasn't
me.
Pittman. Yeah, it wasn't Pittman.
Austin Eckler,
Yeah,
which you, Adam, do I need to let you sing praises? That's your boy.
that's my boy. I love Eckler.
He was last season. He was the highest scoring non-quarterback in the league.
Yes.
So you have your quarterback, always up top. Quarterbacks are going to score you the most points. Then 4th in overall points, Austin Eckler.
Yeah. I mean,
Guy's a stud.
you can't say anything bad about Austin Eckler. I mean, sure, he's had his injuries, but
Mhm.
every running back does. But the amount
Mhm.
of production that Austin Eckler gets is worth the draft pick by itself.
Ridiculous.
Because they're going to get the ball to him. He's going to make some magic. He's going to get those end zone touches. He's
Mhm.
going to get those screen passes. He's going to break it for 30 to 40 yards. Austin Eckler, I rate him right up there with Christian McCaffrey. Both are, injury prone running backs, but they're the most upside because they're an
Mhm.
all around back.
100% agree. Then
Yeah.
I picked up Tony Pollard. I think he's definitely got something to prove this season. He's going to try to up his worth. With what they did, they got rid of Zeke. I mean, they brought in Deuce Vaughn. He doesn't want to be RB2 to Deuce Vaughn, which Deuce Vaughn is looking nasty already. He's looking great.
I mean, can you even
H-
see him in the lineup? Because like my guy is
he's
like 5'5". He looks like someone brought their kid to work.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you go just line up everyone in the NFL, and then the one just next to Kyler Murray, just slightly bigger, Deuce Vaughn.
Kyler Murray's got 5 inches on this guy, all right? And we all know 5 inches is a lot, Nick.
That's too much. So no, so I picked up Tony Pollard. I think he's going to have a great season. I'm not sold on Devontae Smith. I picked that up out of necessity. Um, I was kind of running low. My draft order was not. I didn't manage it very well this season. I'm not really sold on Devontae Smith,
Why are you
especially
not sold on? Why are you not sold on him? He's had 2 great years in a row.
that's exactly why I'm not sold on him.
Hmm.
I
I
think
think I
Devontae
think
Smith
AJ
is going to be
Brown's gonna he's gonna have the majority of it. I think they're gonna still run first. Not Justin Fields. Jesus,
just Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts. My apologies. Jalen Hurts he's still wanting to run it first. That's why I'm not sold on like Justin Fields. Both of them still want to run it first, which I mean, it worked for Vic. It works for Ravens.
Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson. Jesus Christ, my brain is shot. It works for them. You know, it could be their thing, and that's great. But also, I don't pick up many Ravens wide receivers for that reason.
Yeah, I
So
mean
I'm
that's
not 100% sold.
that's one of the reasons I shy away from Philadelphia running backs at that point, because
Mm-hmm.
if they're in the red zone, Jalen Hurts is running that ball. If they're on the first yard or the 1 yard line, Jalen Hurts is just going under center and getting that touchdown. They're not handing it to their backs, so it's the same. It's the same scenario, but Jalen Hurts does throw the ball quite often.
So,
AJ Brown's a target. Devontae Smith's a
mhm.
target. I think Devontae Smith is going to have a way better season this year than he has in the last 2 seasons, and he's been good the last 2 seasons.
I'm hoping. I just don't know. He's my question mark. So not that I'm not sold on Devontae Smith. He's my question mark. Is a better choice of words.
Gotcha.
Chris Olave. I mean, look at his quarterback. You know what I mean? He's another question mark. My wide receiver core is question marks.
Okay.
How are the quarterbacks going to play? Their quarterbacks are going to show me. I mean, and that's all wide receivers, honestly. But you know, there's certain guys they're going to get the ball. Yeah. My wide receiver is questionable. That's how I feel about this draft.
Okay.
I picked up Conklin because I don't know how Aaron Rodgers has clicked with the team yet. So I don't know if on week 1 I picked him up initially just for at least the first few weeks, because the first few weeks, I mean, Rodgers likes to check down to his tight end. So we'll see how that works out. If he's not clicking with his team yet, he's going to check those down, and that's what I'm hoping for the first few weeks until I can find really a more suitable tight end.
Okay.
I think there's potential there for him to be a solid TE1 all year long.
Do you think so?
I think so.
I do.
I mean, I know Rodgers likes to check down. That's a fact.
Yeah, it's just going to be interesting if those checkdowns go to Hall and Cook,
Mm-hmm.
or if they go to Conklin. But not for nothing, Rodgers has always been good at distributing the rock.
Yeah, I mean, besides Devontae Adams,
everybody
like
gets to
Devontae
play
Adams
with
was his
him.
guy. But like then again, last season with Christian Watson, like he found them in the end zone for like 3 weeks straight. It was nasty, and like no one before that knew who Christian Watson was.
Yeah, right.
So like Conklin
was their first round draft pick last year.
Yeah, but still, like it wasn't until like mid-season where he started actually being consistent.
He's a rookie though. I feel like that last year was his rookie year. I feel like that's not fair.
I feel like the opposite.
Not everyone's Ja'Marr Chase.
Yeah, but I feel like that's the opposite with rookies. Like I feel like they have a hot start and then they fade away. Like Christian Watson was the opposite, where he had a slow start and then he towards the end of the season he started picking it up. But that was with Aaron Rodgers throwing him the ball. Like how is he going to do with Jordan Love?
Yeah. Well, I mean, if they go off of history, he's going to do perfectly fine with Jordan Love.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
Green
Bay knows how to find franchise. They know how to find franchise quarterbacks. I'll tell them
Yep. So I picked up J.K. Dobbins, which I hate picking up Ravens running backs. I mean, dude's good if he stays healthy, but you never know how many reps he's going to get that week. Like, it's committee. I hate committee running backs. We talked about Trevor Lawrence. We're all in agreement on that. I think we all think he's going to have a great season. Khalil Herbert, I don't know. I mean, I'm not playing him this week because Green Bay owns them, obviously.
Aaron Rodgers owns them.
But at the same time, they haven't lost that yet. It's still in the back of their minds, like, we can't beat the Packers. So we'll see. We'll see. I picked up Jamal Williams for the fact of Kamara, So Jamal Williams, yeah, he's going to be great for 3 weeks, and we'll see what he does.
Yeah, I mean, he was a solid RB2 in Detroit. I feel like he has a lot of upside. I mean, I just love the guy. Like he's He's funny every time he has an interview,
Mhm.
and like he's just overall good back. I don't think he's a workhorse, but I think he's a good bench option.
He proved that wrong last season, especially with Swift. I mean, Swift was a workhorse, and he took that over. So,
Yeah. Okay.
um,
Okay.
I got Treylon Burks there. Picking up anybody in Tennessee scares me. To be honest,
Besides D Hop.
I still, I don't trust
Call, call
Tennessee
me
this
crazy.
season.
I feel like Burks is the better pickup than Hopkins. I know that sounds crazy.
That's what I'm hoping for, honestly.
Yeah, and I love Hopkins. I love Hopkins.
Mhm.
I feel like the coverage is going to be on Hopkins there, and Treylon Burks, who was also a first round draft pick last year,
Mhm.
right, is going to he's going to get a lot more open this year than he was last year when he was the only person worth covering out there.
Yeah.
And who's passing it to him?
Ryan Tannehill.
Therein lies my hesitancy. Picked up Hunter
Crazy
Renfro.
that he's still in the league.
It's
I
crazy that
know.
he's still in the league.
Picked up Hunter Renfro, who we just talked about a few minutes ago. Cortland Sutton. I think, honestly, I think that Denver can't go any lower than they were. So we'll see how Cortland Sutton works out.
Yeah.
And then I got to pick up my Cowboys defense only because, and I'm going to let you know this, I know that defense. That's defense is the one thing where I have a problem on not choosing my team. I know that defense. I know what they have. I know what they can do. Uh, they just picked up another corner. I feel like they can do really well this season, but that's only because that's the defense. That's the team I watch week after week after week. You know.
Yeah, I mean that you want their defense to be good. They're going to be a high
Mm-hmm.
rated defense. I think there's better defenses on the board. When
Agreed.
like when Dallas Cowboy gets picked as a defense, it's never a bad. In my opinion, it's never a
Mm-hmm.
bad pick because you get a solid defense. But in my opinion, I feel like there's a lot of defenses that got really good this year that you probably they were still on the board when you picked the Cowboys.
100% they were. 100% they were. I went down to like fifth best on the thing to, and then Young Ho Koo. I
Yeah,
mean, guy doesn't miss.
he
So,
he speaks for himself. Like guys
yep.
nailing him at 60 yards.
Mm-hmm.
Chad, let's give an overview how you think Nick's team looks.
I like his team. I think that of the three teams so far, Nick's bench is the most interchangeable with his current starting lineup as the season goes on.
AKA, my starting lineup isn't that great.
AKA, no, it's like I like your starting lineup. I just think it's guys like T-Law, Herbert, Burks, even Sutton, because isn't Judy out the first like 8 to 12 weeks or something like that?
No. He's.
I think he's out maybe 4 or 5 games, if that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so again, right, but so to start the season though, Russell Wilson, his number one target is Cortland Sutton.
Yeah, but
So it's kind of like,
are we going to see the Russell Wilson from Seattle, or are we going to see the Russell Wilson from last year in Denver?
Russell Wilson will have an updraft year. He will get better this year.
You think so?
I'm with
100%.
that. He's not going to get worse.
Well, he
Last
can't get
year
worse.
was a nightmare.
Yeah, last year this guy was unplayable in fantasy football, and then that made the wide receivers not as good in fantasy
Last
football as
year,
well.
Denver was Murphy's Law. 100%.
Yo, imagine being the Broncos and having John Elway take over your team, and you're like, oh, this guy gets quarterbacks. And man, has that not worked out for them? Yo, didn't they like place all their money on Drew Lock or something like
Yes,
that?
yes.
And is a dude even in the NFL anymore?
I don't think so.
Hold on. They had the greatest quarterback of all time, Tim Tebow.
Oh yeah, was that the Elway era?
I don't think it was
I
that
don't even
way.
remember. I just
I
wanted
think
to bash on Tim Tebow.
Yeah.
Also the greatest New York Met of all time, by the way.
But looking over the next team, my cause for concern is going to be your wide receiver core. Devontae Smith, I can't say enough about this guy. I think he's a stud. I think he's going to be doing better than AJ Brown by the end of the season. The Chris Olave, I'm not sold on. You're looking at your bench for wide receivers. Traylon Burks might be able to take Olave's spot off of there. Cortland Sutton, I'm not a big fan of. Hunter Renfrow, I mean, he's going to get his touches, but are we going to see the Hunter Renfrow from 2021, or are we going to see the Hunter Renfrow from last year? So, like,
Right.
that's a coin flip because, I mean, you drafted him late. Is there a possibility that he becomes a really solid wide receiver too, and you're flexing him every week. So,
Right.
I mean, like Chad said, I think your bench is almost as strong as your starting lineup. So I feel like you're going to be doing a lot of tinkering from week to week.
100%.
I feel like you're going to be playing a lot of matchups compared to just playing your superstars. I mean, obviously Austin Eckler is going to be a lock. Tony Pollard is going to be a lock. But other than that, and all the rest of your positions, I think you're going to be able to move guys around based off their matchup. So week to week, we might see a different team here.
Oh, I agree with you 100%. There's no questioning that.
Yeah. So, like, I could see why they rated you the way they rated you, because
C minus.
at that point, like, they don't know who the fuck you're playing. I don't know who the fuck you're playing. But
It's all in the mystery.
it's all in the magic hands, because you have a team that could probably put up 140 points one week, and then a team that could probably give you 95 points in a week. So it's gonna be a real, like, I feel like you're gonna be questioning a lot of who you're playing week to week. And then also on top of that, I feel like it's going to bite you in the ass. Like, some weeks you're going to play Trevor Lawrence, some weeks you're going to play Kirk Cousins. And I feel like on those weeks you're probably going to have the opposite results. But if these guys, if your bench and your starting lineup hit their form, you could have a nasty team.
Yeah. I mean, and you can see right there on your screen the say Fantasy Pros.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see my matchups are all over the place. So I will play those matchups. And that's just how it is.
Yeah. I mean, you got to, like, in fantasy, you got to play to your matchups. Like, unless you're playing a superstar that is locked in every week, like Austin Eckler. I don't care who he's going against. I'm playing him every week.
100%.
Like, people like Travis Kelce, people like Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen. Like, it doesn't matter who they're playing against. It doesn't matter what defense they're playing against. You're playing them every week.
Yep.
You just have a lot of people that you're gonna have to play the better matchups.
Agree. Sorry, I can't disagree with you here.
So let's go ahead and jump into the points galore week. You want to go ahead and give us a little bit of rundown, because this is the crazy league from last year.
Okay. Sorry, I'm still getting there. So, I mean, it's, again, this is in draft order. Matt had first pick, Nat had second. So, I mean, you got to. I'm just gonna go through the grades here: B, B minus, C plus, C plus, A minus, A, B, A. The newcomers in this league. Who's newcomers? Kim and I don't know who else. Nobody that matters. Oh, Chad, you're in this one, aren't you?
No, nobody that matters, my boy.
So Chad's newcomer to this league. It's a different drafting style. You got to draft completely different. You're not looking for that touchdown guy. You're looking for the workhorses. You're looking for kick returners, punt returners. You're looking for kickers that don't miss, as opposed to kicking 20 field goals a game. It completely changed your outlook. And Chad, I think I was nice to you. Didn't I give you a rundown on that and kind of some tips and tricks before this?
Yeah, but I'll be honest with you. I don't really fully agree. I'm still happy with my team here. I don't fully agree with my draft grade, but you know what? I haven't had a good draft grade in the last 3 years, and I'm a semifinalist champ.
Yeah. I mean,
well,
you can't
semifinalist loser. Let's get that
right. Champ. Looking at you, Isaiah.
Champ.
Oh man.
No, I mean I'm looking down at this projection scores. It's a little bit harder with this league because it is an 8-man league.
100%.
It's a crazy man league. We only have one bench spot, and I mean last year I found a loophole. This year I'll find a new loophole. But you only have one
Hey.
We
bench
got
spot.
rules this year, bud.
We only got one bench spot. So and not only I mean it's 8-man league, so you're playing everybody at least twice. I believe for the most majority of it, you're playing everyone twice.
Most people 3 times.
Yeah, most people 3
Oh,
times.
no, that was with the
That's
6-man
with the
league,
6-man. Yeah, 6-man. We played
Yeah.
each other 3 times. This league we did add from the crazy league last year. We added 2 more spots to bring it to 8, which made the drafting a little bit more hectic. I mean, at that point, there's another 11 players or 22 players off the rosters.
We added Chad, Isaiah, and Kim this season.
Oh,
Isaiah
yeah.
didn't do it.
Correct. Yeah, because we had Ryan last year.
And apparently you can't draft very well if you're new, except for Kim.
Yeah,
Blew it out of the water.
Kim, apparently, I mean, she's rated number 1 right now as for the projections. Because I think how the projections work is not only goes off of your team, it goes off of your schedule of who you play this year.
100%.
So if you're playing the teams that drafted well, it's predicting you to do. If it say so, like Isaiah and Chad, they probably play me, Chris, and Kim twice this season. So it's showing them that they're getting a better or a worse rating because they have to quote unquote play the teams that drafted quote unquote better,
right?
Essentially twice. So I mean that has a little bit to go into it.
Not for nothing. Whose team looks like it did on week 1 compared to week 8? Just saying.
Mine?
Huh?
I feel like people make a lot of changes and additions to their team, and like
so in this league, you will be making a lot of. I've already got to make a decision on week 1.
Yes.
If Travis Kelce does not play, I've got to drop Hopkins. I've got to drop fucking D-Hop. Pick up some no-name tight end for a week.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in the same situation in this league. I have Cooper Kupp on my team. There's a good chance that he doesn't play Sunday. So then I'm dropping Gibbs, who I was storing as a possibility to be that guy in Detroit. So I'm dropping Gibbs because I'm not dropping Cooper Kupp. I don't care if he doesn't play for 3 weeks. He's sitting on my bench. Because he is one of those guys that not only is going to get touchdowns, he's going to get a lot of yards. In this league, you want yards. Like touchdowns are awesome.
For everyone that's that hasn't experienced points galore league, so every receiving yard is a point, every rushing yard is a point, every 2 passing yards is a point, every return yard on punt or kickoff is a point. Defense starts with 50 points. Every score against them takes off points. Basically, we're almost down to every point scored against them takes away a point. I think we got it more in the middle this year.
Yeah, we got it more in the middle this
year. It really sounds like a points galore.
Yeah, it really sounds like a points galore.
It is points galore.
You guys will see after the first week, there's going to be teams that score 900, 1,000, 1,100 points in this league, which is normal.
Only one that scores 1,200,
Only
though.
Only one that scores 1,200, and then we lost. But, I mean, kickers are very important in this league as well. You're going to want a kicker because so not only does the kicker's points go off of if they scored the point, it goes off of the yardage that they scored the point at. So if they score a 40-yard field goal, you're getting 40 points out of that kicker. But if they miss 50, sorry.
40 to 49 yarder is 50 points.
50 points. But if they miss a 40 to 49 yarder field goal, you're getting minus 50 points. So kickers are important. Like you want a guy that's going to consistently score you points.
We had kickers go. What was last year's highest? 160 in a week.
Yeah, 160.
And we had negative 80.
Yeah. So like kickers can make or break you in this league. So it's important to pick a kicker that not only hits those kicks, but that doesn't miss those kicks. So you want someone that's reliable in that position. Sure, you get like Young Ho Koo, who is going to make a 60-yard field goal, but then he's going to miss a 60-yard field goal. So that equates to 0 points. So you gotta in this league, I feel like this league kicker is one of the actual important roles on your team.
Kicker and quarterback, I think, is top 2 most important positions.
I wouldn't say top two. I mean, wide receivers are going to score you quite a bit of points as well. I think kicker is the position that's going to hurt you the most. It has the potential to hurt you the most.
Yeah, but also in this league, passing quarterback is not necessarily better than the running quarterback. So if you have a quarterback who passes for 100 yards or a quarterback for who rushes for 100 yards, rushing is 100 points, passing is 50 points. So a mobile quarterback is much more valuable, except for, like the Tom Brady's. Tom Brady did perfectly well in this league because he was just passing 500 yards a game,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
ridiculous amounts of yards. No one's going to rush 250 yards as a quarterback. So you have to weigh out your options.
We're looking at you, Michael Vick. But but go ahead and let's. So we're gonna dive into the number one team projected. We're looking at Kim's team here first. So let's go ahead and get that over here.
You got to switch leagues. Yeah,
Yep.
there you go.
Red Solo Cup.
No,
So yep. League. And who is that? King. Or wait. Oh,
I'm the
yep.
problem. It's me.
Yep, there's their team right there. So let's go ahead and look over her team. You want to go ahead and take this one away, Chad? Can you see it?
Yep. All right, so we got Joe Burrow at quarterback, Aaron Jones at running back, Najee Harris at running back, Calvin Ridley at receiver, Jamar Chase at receiver, Mark Andrews at tight end, James Conner in the flex. We got Chris Godwin on the bench. We got Harrison. What's his name?
Butker.
Butler.
Butker.
Butker.
Buckler.
Yeah.
And then the
Butker.
Packers defense. Butker. Gotcha. Yeah. How did this team get projected and get an A?
So
Najee
Joe
Harris
Burrow.
had a terrible year,
hmm
and Calvin Ridley, sure, yeah, maybe, but he's also in a very crowded receiving core. Jamar Chase is a fucking lock. Mark Andrews is a lock. James Conner is still kind of up there. I'm
So
sorry, I don't see it here.
So the rules is what changes this. You're used to a normal PPR. Um, Najee Harris, I mean, he gets yards. He just doesn't do very well with it. Aaron Jones is going to get some yards. Joe Burrow is a very mobile quarterback. Jamar Chase, obviously, he's a lock. Calvin Ridley, that one's questionable. Mark Andrews gets yards. You know what I mean? It's all the yards that are effective in this, and it's going off of last season as well. So, James Conner had a much better season last year than I think he's going to have this season. I think it's a tank year, and they're not going to let him score touchdowns. But the touchdowns don't matter. It's the yards that matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
In this league,
I get it. I just don't see it. I just don't see in an 8-team league how this is an A team. Like, I'm sorry. I don't see it. And I'm not even trying to shit on Kim here. I genuinely don't. I just don't see it with, in my opinion, Najee Harris and Calvin Ridley and James Conner being average
Uh-oh.
players,
you're
in my
roboting a little
opinion,
bit.
this season. What?
You're roboting.
Okay. Chat's roboting. So
Sorry.
I'm gonna
Am I?
talk about his rebuffs here for a second. Um, I I can see based off of last season why they're marking this an A. Do I think it's going to be the same this season? No. Um, I agree with the picks that she has. I agree with most of them. I mean, Joe Burrow, Aaron Jones, Jamar Chase, Mark Andrews, and Chris Godwin. I mean, Chris Godwin pulled in a lot of yards. He just didn't get as many goal line catches. So Butker doesn't really ever miss, and the Packers defense is looking better. But the defense is always on this. The projections are always skewed. Doesn't it say they get like 20 points or something
Yeah.
ridiculous?
It's something like that. They're always predicted to get like 20, 30 points, or 20 to 15 points. Right now,
But
I
it's
think it has
more.
it at 7 because for some reason, like, the first week of this league doesn't actually project correctly. Like,
Right.
right now, it has Joe Burrow at 20 on here, but if I pull up the actual app, like, he has way more than 20.
Yeah, he's going to get 150 points.
Yeah. So I'm looking at Kim's
Gotcha.
team
I was
here.
wondering that actually.
Yeah, I'm looking at Kim's team here, and I really like the Jamar Chase Joe Burrow duo. Like Jamar Chase is obviously going to get a lot of yards. Joe Burrow's going to throw for a lot of yards.
But he's going to get a point for every 2 yards. So although Jamar Chase is going to get, a 60-yard pass is going to be 60 points for Jamar Chase, it's still only 30 for Joe Burrow.
Yeah, but Joe Burrow's also going to
That's
throw
every
for
quarterback.
he's also going to throw for 400 yards. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
like it equals
and
out.
rush for 60.
Yeah, exactly. He's going to rush for 60, throw for 400 with 4 touchdowns. So like that's a lock for me in this league. I like the Aaron Jones play. I like the Mark Andrews play because he does get yards. He doesn't see the end zone as much, but he does get yards. I mean, the same case last year with Travis Kelce. Kelce is a great PPR, but last year, I mean, Kelce scored 4 touchdowns but had 25 yards. So in this league, Travis Kelce only scored 50 points.
Hey, let's stop shitting on Kelce. I got him on my team.
I'm just saying though, like because last year he scored 50 points that week, but in the regular PPR format, he scored like 40 points. So I mean, it's amazing that he gets into the end zone in PPR leagues, but I don't like personally in this league. I wouldn't take Travis Kelce as my number 1 overall at that point because I want someone that's going to get the yardage for
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't think Travis Kelce in this league is as dynamic as he is in a PPR league. So
no, I think Hawkinson is more dynamic than Kelce in this league.
Well, I no. See, I still think Kelsey's the number 1 tight end no matter what in any league, but I think he's just not as important in this league as he is in other leagues. So like in my opinion, like I wouldn't take Kelce as my number 1, where I could take someone that I know is going to get 150 yards a game.
Right.
But looking over the team, like Chad was trying to get to earlier.
Sorry, Chad.
Sorry, Kim. I don't think this is a number 1 team.
We're in agreement.
There's a lot of question marks around this team, especially in this format. But
Kim,
does it have potential? Yes.
Kim, just get better.
She hated that last season.
I'm just struggling when you have a lineup of 8 people and 37.5% of your team is a question mark. Like that kind of just throws me off a bit. That's why I guess I just don't understand. Not that I don't understand. I don't agree with the A grade here.
Listen, you've hated Kim since you thought she was a guy, okay?
I'm crazy, right? Crazy. I was so embarrassed when I found out she was a girl.
But hey, if predictions play out, she has a good chance of, making a run.
Good for you.
What happened?
I said good for you. I hope it works out for you, Kim, and you're back next season.
So next up, we're gonna go with. Did you change your name, Chad?
I think I don't even know what my name is.
Kim? Is this your team?
Do you even know your team?
Nah, man.
I'm okay. Look, hold on. Technical difficulties. Bear with us.
No. All right, no. That I think that is my team. I'm not gonna lie. I do think that is my team.
Nat, Chris, Isaiah. No, this is Chris. That's Nick.
I'm Domestic Dispute.
Yeah, King is your team. King is your team.
Yeah.
This fucking guy's shot. All right, so go ahead and explain your team to us.
Okay, I mean, if I need to explain Josh Allen to you, I don't know why you're playing fantasy football.
Hey, explain to me then.
Fair enough. You're not good at this.
I am wearing this outfit right now, so explain it to me.
I mean, look, right? You told me that running quarterbacks come at a premium in this league, right? Obviously based on the scoring. So obviously Josh Allen was a no-brainer. Eckler is a yardage machine. We've already discussed ETN and how I feel about him. You'll see it as we go through this that I have faith in ETN this year. Again, Devontae Adams, another guy you don't really need to talk about. I don't love the T. Higgins play. To be quite honest with you, I might pick up a Giants wide receiver.
Oh, do that. Hey, let me know before you do that so I can pick up T. Higgins in this league.
T. Higgins wouldn't be the one that would get dropped. But but I'll keep you posted though.
Yeah.
I don't really know what to do with JT. Like he's probably gonna have to get dropped. I picked him up late. So it doesn't, he was like a wild card.
And Devontae
Uh,
Smith, leave Taylor on the bench. You got a one-man bench.
well, then yeah, that's probably what I'll do to start, to start the year. I don't love Goddard as my starting tight end. I think that there's just so many people that are gonna get the ball dumped to them, but it is what it is. If I can get 40, 50 yards out of him in any given week, I'll honestly take it.
I don't think that's a bad choice.
I don't think that's a bad choice.
In this league, I don't think that's a bad choice.
I really like Goddard in the tight end position for any league.
All right. I got to ask you guys a serious question. Like, you see my team, right? Pull Taylor out and put Devonta Smith in. Okay. I have Graham Gano, who didn't fucking miss last year. And then I have arguably the best defense in the league. Why am I projected 1-13 with a C as a grade? Do you agree with that?
Because you're Chat.
Fair, but I'm really Charles. So that's why I don't see much validity in that statement, right? But no, I really want your opinion here. Do you look at this team and go, you had a weak draft?
No.
I mean, I'll take this one to start. I don't see this as a weak draft. I don't see you winning only one game this season. I think with this draft,
I don't see you winning a game.
I think with the draft reports on this league is a little different because obviously the projections aren't as accurate as they are when you actually look at the app. I'm gonna go ahead and take this off because I don't want that on anymore. But I am going to say
I don't know if you're fulfilling your end of losing your league if that's not on.
No, he's fulfilling it. This is solid gold, and it's going on YouTube. Trust me, he's fulfilling it.
I'm fulfilling it. But I don't agree with your draft report. Looking at your team now, Josh Allen, Eckler, Travis Etienne, all workhorses. Devontae Adams, amazing. T. Higgins, questionable to me in this format. I think he's going to see the end zone. I don't think he's going to see a lot of yards as much as Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase gets those air yards. In my opinion, I would swap him out with Devontae Smith and see if you can pick up another wide receiver that will get you a little bit more yardage. Jonathan Taylor.
I've looked at it.
No? Okay. So
he doesn't want anybody right now.
But I mean, other than Dallas Goedert, I think he's a great tight end. I think in that tight end position, he's going to be guaranteeing you at least 40 to 60 points a week. And I think that's in the tight end position. I think that's the best you could hope for if you don't have either Mark Andrews or Travis Kelce. On top of that, you have Gano, which is amazing kicker. He doesn't miss.
I think he's the one who scored 160 last season. I think Natalie had him, and I'm pretty sure he's the one who scored 160.
Yeah, I think he's the one that scored the most last season. And then the Jets defense. I fuck with the Jets defense. I think they're going to be a great team this year defensively, along with the offensive weapons they have. So I'm really high on the Jets defense. At this moment, I could be at the end of the season. I could be maybe the Jets weren't that good, but from everything looking forward, I think you have a solid team. I think I see this team winning 10 games this season. I think you get into the playoffs. I don't see you going 1-13.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I needed to hear that because it doesn't feel like it's that weak of a team.
Chad, if you're a betting man, I can bet 100% that you'll make it into the playoffs.
I'm not going to bet against myself.
Okay, well, it's a losing bet anyways because every team makes it into the playoffs in this league.
Oh shit! All right, playoff round, boys. Let's go.
Semifinals, here we come, baby!
Here we come, baby!
No, I mean, just looking over your team, I don't see how this
solid team.
I don't see how this rated the way it rated. But then again, in this format, I mean,
I'm almost wondering if they take regular numbers, so a regular PPR league numbers when they consider this. I'm wondering if it's not the fact that you scored so low, it's the fact that everyone else it put you not only. It's not like an actual grade; it's a grade against everyone else. Possibly, I don't know. I don't agree with your grade on this.
You think Kim's team is better than mine?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I'll tell you that
all I
right
need.
off
No,
the start.
I think off of last season is the reason why Kim's team is better than yours. Off of current trends and current how things are going, I think you have a much better team. ETN struggled at the end of last season. You know what I mean? T. Higgins didn't do as great and he had injuries. Jonathan Taylor didn't play for half the season. You know what I mean? So that is why I think they're grading you so low
I
because
think.
of
Oh,
that.
I think the grade you got suffered a lot with that Jonathan Taylor having them on your roster.
Hmm.
I
Just
agree.
because the fact that he was a question mark at that point. Um, Other than that, I see
And
a
not that
solid
he's
team.
not well worth it. I think you're because everyone's team is stacked in this league. You know what I mean? Everyone has an insanely good team.
Besides Kim, even
Um,
though she's rated number one.
eh,
It's wild.
sorry, Kim. No, I don't think that your score is necessarily accurate. Honestly,
No, I see the same way. I see it the same way. I don't agree
I
with the
think
score he
you have a
got.
better team than me.
Yeah. So
Is this you?
going into Nick's team, let's go ahead and get a
Let,
rundown.
let's see. What did I grade as a B? So I'm projected to go 7-7. I think that's accurate. Um, I think that's fairly accurate from what I'm looking at. Justin Fields.
Oh,
So I
your
picked him
team
up.
is trash.
Super mobile quarterback. I think he's going to get me 150 to 200 points a week. Um, and I feel that just because of how much he runs. Tony Pollard, I don't know because he was a workhorse last season, but now he's RB1. I think they're going to put in Deuce Vaughn as the workhorse. So I don't know if Tony Pollard's as worth it in this league as he normally is in other leagues. And that's just how I feel. J.K. Dobbins, he's going to get the majority of those yards. Like I said, I'm still not sold on Baltimore running backs, but I took a chance on this one. I'm going to see how it works, see what I can't do. Amari Cooper, I think, is the yardage guy in Cleveland. That's how I feel. I think he's going to give me a good, solid turnout. I'm going to get 60, probably 60 points out of him every single week. I don't think there's much of a super upside. I'm not going to see a 110-point week, but I think I'm going to get a solid 60, which I'm okay with. Debo Samuel, we talked about him earlier. It depends on who they're going with that week. How Brock Purdy plays. If they're running it to McCaffrey or they're sending it through the air. If Kittle's in, there's so many factors that honestly Debo Samuel's a wild card. I think that I'm going to have some weeks where I'm going to get 30 points out of him, and I'm going to have some weeks where I'm going to get 80, 100 out of him. So we'll see what happens. Kelsey, I mean, we talked about that earlier when you were trashing on him.
No, I
Uh,
don't trash on. I wasn't trashing on him, but for this league, like
for this league, no,
yes,
I agree with what you said, honestly. Madison, I would have taken over Dalvin Cook last season because they did have him as a workhorse. Yeah. I mean, Cook scored more touchdowns, but his runs weren't as long. Madison, when he came in, was able to stretch the ball out a lot more. RB1 Madison versus RB1 Cook. I think Madison would have ended up scoring more points in this league.
okay, understandable.
I think Madison has nice upside this
Yes,
year.
yeah,
I,
I
I,
like that call.
yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Then I picked up D Hop just as a wild card. Like I said, I might have to drop D Hop if Kelsey doesn't play, and I'll find that out at 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. I might have to pick someone up. So if you guys are really trying to screw me, go and pick up. Oh, you don't have a bench. I'm gonna say go pick up all the tight ends, so I don't have anybody. But um, honestly, I'm thinking if Kelsey can't play, I'm probably gonna pick up what's the Saints, Jawan Johnson.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I think that might be the best bet, honestly. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I do have Carlson, who I will take every single season. Guy's spot on. He doesn't miss. He doesn't necessarily kick as many of those 50, 60 yarders, but he doesn't miss.
Yeah.
He's kind of like Gano.
He's going to get you 5 30-yarders in a game.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
every game.
Yeah, he's gonna. I think last year I had him until I had to drop him, and then I think Matt stole him from me.
Yeah.
But I think he was getting me easily 100 points a week.
Yeah.
Like the dude
Consistently.
was spot on. Plus with the Raiders, how they are and how they're looking with Jimmy G, I don't think they're going to get to the end zone as often as they want to. So I'm
And
thinking that
he's the king
Daniel
of field. He's
Carlson,
the king of field goals.
Yeah.
he's gonna have a lot of opportunity this season. And then,
Are you
like I said,
nervous about your defense?
no, because hold on, in this league, um, we put a premium on pick sixes, interceptions. There's more points for interceptions than that. So yeah, people scoring against you might hurt, but the interceptions, the pick sixes are really going to help you out. So I feel better about this Dallas Cowboys defense than I do the other league.
Okay. Okay.
That's fair. I agree with you. And the Cowboys defense, they are literally a turnover machine. So I'm definitely on board with you. I actually like the Cowboys defense, but yeah, I'm a Giants fan, so I have to shit on them. But like,
Yeah,
but
of course.
I do like the Cowboys defense. They have a lot of playmakers on their defense, which is definitely exciting. I mean, and Diggs is just crazy fun to watch play. So like. I like that call, especially given the premium paid on turnovers in the league.
Yeah. On top of that, like, so I see the Cowboys defense as they're really good, but they do give up scores. So they're going to give up 21 points, 28 points a game, but that defense is going to score. That defense is going to get turnovers. That defense is going to score. So it's going to counterbalance. I like them a lot more in this league compared to other leagues, just because that turnover ratio. I think you have a really solid team. I'm not super sold on your running back choices, besides probably Pollard and Madison. I'm not sold on the J.K. Dobbins in this league.
I'm not either.
Yeah.
So you're in the same boat as me. I mean, if you and I just brought it up just to make sure that I didn't say anything wrong. You know what I mean? But I mean, you've got Micah Parsons, you got DeMarcus Lawrence, you've got Stephon Gilmore, who they picked up, you got Trayvon Diggs, you've got Van Der Esch. Like, these guys will turn. They'll cause turnovers. Like I said, I know that I only know Cowboys defense. That's who I know the most, and I tend to go towards Cowboys defense until I see analytics show me something different. But in this league, I'm sold on it. I don't need to go any further.
Yeah, no. I think like your prediction is right where it's supposed to be. I think you're going to be a little bit over 500 this year, but you do have quite a bit of question marks on this team, in your running back position, and honestly in your wide receiver positions as well. Amari Cooper is going to be there. Debo Samuel, like you said, he's going to be a question mark. Is he going to give you 30 points, or is he going to give you 120 points? So
Right.
that's going to be the big question. Like, I love the Justin Fields, I love the Travis Kelce. Even though like I was kind of shitting on him, he's still a lock. Like at that point, he's guaranteed at least 40 for you. And in this league, tight ends aren't even guaranteed to get you 40. So I mean,
we've seen those.
His floor is really high. His ceiling is not as high because he doesn't get the yardage, but he gets the end zone touches.
His floor was pretty low last season on that one game where it was the one you were talking about, where it was 4 touchdowns for 25 yards. Like, I mean, he still scored you 60 points that week, but
yeah,
60, I guess you're just used to seeing more than that.
The 60 points would have been a lot nicer if those were 30-yard catches instead of 5-yard catches. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I kind of agree with your drafting. I think you're going to be right in the middle of the pack.
Yeah, I see myself in a 7-7, 8-6. If I'm lucky, 9-5. If someone makes bonehead moves, I don't see myself winning this league.
Okay.
I'm going to talk down on myself so I karma it into happening.
Yeah. You got to put yourself down to pick yourself back up.
Yeah.
We'll jump into my team in this crazy league. We're starting off with Justin Herbert. We got Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs. We got Tyreek Hill. We got Cooper Cup, Dalton Schultz. I can never say his first name, but we got
Ramondre.
Ramondre Stevenson. We got Jeremiah Gibbs on the bench. We got Riley Patterson, and then Buffalo Bills defense. The one I'm most questionable about, obviously, is Cooper Cup. How many games is he going to be out? If he is out games, I have to move him to the bench. I'm not super upset about giving up Gibbs in this league. I feel like I'll be able to pick him back up even if he does pop off. There's so many running backs.
He's gonna ride my bench all season. I don't care if I think zeros.
But the more questionable I am with Riley Peterson, I kind of invested in him in a couple leagues. I think Detroit's going to be kicking the ball a lot. I think this kid is going to be good.
Mm-hmm.
I see a lot of upside in him. I think he'll be able to get me the 150 point kicking games with the most majority of not missing. I think he's going to be one of those guys like Young Hoku that's going to be going for the 60 yards. So it could bite me in the ass later in the season, but I'm willing to. I mean, there's so many kickers you can still pick up that can get you consistent points. I just think the upside's up there.
Look at Mayer last season. He was a lock until the end of the season.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then it's like, geez, I think he lost games for me because I had to drop Carlson, I had to pick up Mayer, and I was like, perfect. I'm good. You know what I mean? And then at the end of the season, I think I ended up dropping him and picking up a nobody just for the fact of I didn't want to go negative points again.
Yeah, I mean, I think he caused like 3 weeks in a row going negative. It was ridiculous. Yeah, so like, in this league, you can't have that.
So looking at yours, or are you good? Are you ready for me to analyze this?
Analyze me.
Give you my expert opinion.
Analyze me.
Yeah. So I think Herbert's a good pick for you. I see him only getting better. He's on that cusp of being a great quarterback. He can be. I think this is possibly his choosing season, whether he gets moved up to a great quarterback or someone who fizzled out. I think this is that year. But I don't see any downside there in Herbert. I think last year I called for him to be MVP. Remember at episode 1, I said Herbert's going to be MVP of the season. Boy, was I wrong, but I'm hoping that it happens this season. Saquon Barkley, I mean, he's going to get his yards no matter what, no matter how they play him, no matter what they do. I mean, the Giants still suck, but no, he's gonna get his yards. Josh Jacobs, he's gonna get his yards because I don't believe in Jimmy G. I think they're gonna try to pass it. So Josh Jacobs might be slow for the first couple weeks, but I don't think he's going to have another 1,600 yard season, but he's going to get yards. He's going to, just because I don't believe in Jimmy G. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill speaks for himself. You don't have to go any further there. Cooper Cup, you're right. Is your question mark? Is he going to be the Cooper Cup of seasons past, or is the injury going to plague him? Also, though, the quarterback situation is. How's this quarterback going to look? You know what I mean? Cooper Cup, two seasons ago, last season, I would have taken first round. Now, I wouldn't have taken third round, fourth round, maybe. So that you're right. I think that is a big question mark. Dalton Schultz. So I know I'm speaking highly of an ex-Cowboy here, but I think he's better in Houston than he is in Dallas. I think that's a better fit for him. I think you're going to see better things from Schultz. I think I took him in a league or two this season because I believe that's a better situation. You know, if you can't get one of your first few tight ends, I think Dalton Schultz is a good pickup.
Yeah.
Especially with Houston, how they've been like now. Ramondre Stevenson, I don't know how it's going to work. I know dude's a workhorse. I know dude's a stud, but I don't have any questions about that. It's how is Belichick going to use him versus Zeke? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is he going to put Zeke as the workhorse and let Ramondre Stevenson go goal line, or is it going to be vice versa? I don't know how that dynamic's going to work out. We'll just have to figure it out. I don't think you made a bad choice whatsoever. And then the Buffalo Bills defense. I agree. They're a good defense. I think they're more offensive minded than defense. I think their offense is very much stronger than their defense. Not that their defense is going to do bad at all. They know how to win. They know how to get there. So that's how I feel about your draft there.
The AFC East is also strong this year, so the Bills have to
Mm-hmm.
play against the Jets defense and the Dolphins defense.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's worth mentioning too.
Yeah,
that you're gonna have to deal with that.
They got to play the Chiefs twice. They got to play the Jets twice. They got to play the Miami twice.
Yeah.
I'm more banking on the Buffalo Bills being the safety net, where I can get 30 to 25 points out of them a week. I'm not banking on them turning over the ball. I'm banking on them essentially making sure other teams don't score. So if they can give up, 14 points a game, I'm happy with that.
I think in this league they're very much mid and up.
Yeah. What do you thinking, Chad?
Again, I'm about the Herbert. I'm always about Justin Herbert. I love Herbert. I think Barkley's playing with the chip on his shoulder this year, which is good. Jacobs and Tyreek Hill kind of speak for themselves. We've already discussed the Cooper Kupp situation. I'll actually tell you, I really am a fan of the Dalton Schultz pickup. You got a rookie quarterback starting down there, and if there's one thing I've learned from watching rookie quarterbacks throughout my life, they like to check down to their tight ends a lot in their rookie season. It's a quick safety net where they can get a quick 5-7 yards when they don't know how to stay in the pocket and handle the pressure. I like the call, and I think that a lot of his success is going to depend upon how Stroud does this year. He looked pretty good in the preseason. I know the Texans are high on him. We'll see. The Stevenson, I don't know, Bill Belichick and his running back situation, regardless of what year it is and who's on that team, is just confusing to me. You have a good kicker, and we already discussed the Bills. I love the Bills defense as a pick. But I also don't love it, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
They're like the safe option, like I was saying. They're not going to cause turnovers. They're not going to make touchdowns on their turnovers, but they're
Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, they're not going to give up 40 points a game. So that's what I'm banking on.
And you know what's good about them too, right? If there's one thing that the Bills are good at, it's ball control. The defense doesn't stay on the field a lot because the Bills the ball down the field every single possession.
Yeah, exactly. They're like the Patriots. They're gonna make one drive extend almost the whole goddamn quarter. So, well, it makes it easier for the defense when they're not on the goddamn field. So, like I said, the weakest point I see on my team is going to be the Cooper Kupp when he's healthy, if he's the stud. Personally, I really like the Stevenson pickup in my flex, just because last year in this league he was one of the top running backs because of his yardage situation. I think Zeke's going to eat into it a little bit, but I think Zeke is going to be the third down back. He's going to be the goal line back, and I'm fine with him scoring as long as Stevenson keeps getting his yards.
Yeah.
So, I mean, looking over at the draft report, all three of us in this league, I got an A-, 11-3. Chad got the C+ at 1-13, and then Nick went ahead and got the B at 7-7. I think after looking at all the teams, honestly, I think
they're not accurate.
I think we're all above 500 teams.
Mm-hmm.
I don't agree with 11-3. I think it's going to be more along a 9-5 team, but I can see us all three placing at 9-5.
At 9-5, I think I'm more at an 8-6. To your guys' 9-5. That's me being a realist, but I don't know. Yeah, let's talk about this one. Let's talk about this draft.
You want to go ahead and this is a new league this year.
So,
this
all
was
right.
an interesting one.
So this one is a brand new league this season. This is our legacy league, living legacy, I think is what we call it, right?
Yep.
Yep. So it is a PPR league. It's a two-man keeper league. But what we did is we went more of the like the actual NFL. So what we did is we could trade draft picks. Now we're not trading draft picks for 2 seasons out, 3 seasons out. We're trading draft picks only for the following season. So we're not that crazy yet. But we also, worst person in the league gets first draft pick next season. Um, it it's a 4-year minimum league. Like it's a $100 league. I know it says 0 there because we're doing our trials this season, which, as you can see, it says legacy trials. But it's going to be a big league. We're signing contracts that say we're in for 4 years. Like it's going to be a big time league that's really, really structured after the NFL, like an actual like if you're an NFL owner. So I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be a great league. I'm interested to see how it goes.
Oh no, same,
And
same. I think the drafting format and being able to trade draft picks is going to be huge. The 4-year commitment obviously is going to be big. Like if you want to, at any point you want to get out of the league, you got to find someone to replace you in the league.
and pay out the remainder of your contract. So if you get out after year one, you've got to pay out $300 and find someone to take your spot, and they
Yes.
get whatever draft picks you traded the season before. So they could be screwed.
Yeah, they could be screwed, or they could be beneficial of that. But the 300 is obviously just going to go back into the pool. So at that point,
Hmm.
if two people want to get out of the league after say the second year, that's an extra $400 that goes into the pool.
Hmm.
So I mean, at one point you could be playing in this league for $1,200. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's quite a bit of money at that point. But like also at you, if you're not making the playoffs one season, you can trade for those draft picks for the next
Hmm.
season. This is a two man keeper league. We kind of went over that. I mean, we kind of, I
Well,
guess,
and yeah, I think you and I were talking about it earlier today. So 6 out of these 8 teams are making it to the playoffs. With the first 2 teams getting a bye week, uh, 3, 4, 5, and 6 battle it out to get into the playoffs, which means seventh and eighth place has a really good opportunity. You know what? Let me trade away some of my better players, not maybe my 2 keepers, but let me trade away some better players for some draft capital for next season. Like when I go into the draft, I'm eighth place and I traded away, for 3 separate draft picks to 3 separate people. Okay, now not only am I picking first, but now I've got 3 extra picks riddled throughout the draft. You're gonna have a good team next year.
yeah. I mean, like at that point, like you're chalking up this season, but you're guaranteed to lock in next season. So it's going to play in all that way. And then also like with the keeper system, like you got to submit your keepers by the like at the end of the
At the
season.
end of this season.
So you say you pick up, or you say you want to keep, like for example, Alvin
Tom
Kamara,
Brady.
Tom Brady, Alvin Kamara, right? You want to keep those guys. I don't know why you would want to keep them, but you say you want to keep them in that league.
That's what you chose.
Tom Brady fucking retires. Well, that's your keeper. You don't get to change it. Like at
Hmm.
that point,
You still draft him.
one of your keepers. No, I mean you don't draft him, but one of your keepers is gone, and then you kept Alvin Kamara. Like you still got to draft him. Like you don't get to just change your keeper. Like so
Hmm.
it it makes a lot of your decision in this league is a lot more effective at that point. But we do have some. I mean, everyone's new to this league. We have some people that kind of pretty much started the league. Me, you, Chad, Matt. We were all in the decisions on starting this league. So we got Zane in this league. We got Zoe. We got Chris, Natalie. So there's some people in here that have done very, very well in fantasy football. And I feel like this league's going to be super competitive, even though this
Mhm.
first year's a trial. Um,
So I'm gonna stop you there. So on this draft grade, we put hypothetical draft trades from last season. So we picked our keepers out of a hat. So you all got whatever keepers you got. We took the top, 16 people?
16 people.
Yeah, we took the top 16 players and we chose them. And that's what
Randomly.
we chose for our keepers. Then we put out hypotheticals. You remember it was you traded your 6th round to the person 2 seats to your left. It's like, okay. So we have trades, and not everyone got a trade. I think Chad, didn't you made
Two.
no trades last
I,
season?
no. I had 2 of them. I think I lost my
6 and 7?
6th round. I lost one. I think to Adam actually.
Yes. Yeah.
I lost one to Adam, and then I took somebody's 8 and 9.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think you took Zoe's 8 and 9.
So yeah, I took Zoe's 8 and 9, and it was either 8 and 9 or his 9 and 10. But that resulted in nice players for me. So even though I lost my number 6, I got a nice supplemental pair in those rounds, and
You got
him and I
2
picked back
round
to
8s and
back.
2 round 9s.
And I got to pick him back to back too.
Mhm.
Because he was, so it worked out pretty nicely actually for me in that regard. So it kind of balanced itself out in a way. And he got my 16th in exchange for that, which was rough.
Yeah, it's super rough. Like
but he got a good player last season.
Yeah,
exactly. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it was
He
hypothetical.
went to the playoffs. He got your number 3 player, possibly, for that 16th round. He traded up his 8th and 9th round.
Yeah.
Right.
And then like I was in the position where I made no trades last year, but then I ended up with sitting like 2 seats over from Chad. So then I got his 6th round, and then I ended up getting, I think, someone else's 8th. So I ended up with a 6th and an 8th without making any trades. So I literally, by the time the 14th round came around, I already had my full team, and
Right.
people were drafting their 16th round. Essentially, that used to be my pick. So I ended up with a really solid team here. I also ended up with 2 solid keepers in this league, which was like it worked out very well for me as a test. Some people got really screwed over with like some of their keepers because we went off the top 16, and there may not even be people that you wanted to really necessarily draft. But that's why we did the testing this season. I think Nick ended up having to trade away a couple of his picks.
I think I traded away one and got another one in return.
Oh,
So
it
but
worked out.
I got a really good keepers, and then the trade that I ended up moving up with, because I think I traded away a lower pick and got a higher pick, it really worked out for me.
Oh yeah, 100%. It worked out for you. I mean, you're rated as the number 1 projected team in this league. So we'll go ahead and look at you first. Let's go ahead and go to the league.
Grand Poobah.
Grand Poobah.
Yep.
Right. Let's go ahead and look over your team. Go ahead.
All right. So my keepers here, I'm pretty sure it's Jamar Chase and CeeDee Lamb were my keepers.
Uh-huh.
So my wide receiver was set out the gate. And I think my first round I ended up picking up Joe Burrow. So that was the pick that I took up front. So I ended up getting Jamar Chase, CeeDee Lamb, and Joe Burrow right out the gates. I was very, very I was very happy with that combination. Now I'm putting a lot of faith in the Bengals this season because, as you can see, I got Joe Burrow, Joe Mixon, and Jamar Chase. And I went Cowboy heavy, which it could play out, it could not. But I got Tony Pollard, CeeDee Lamb, and Brandon Cooks. Now, each one of those players right there is a week 7 bye. So week 7, if you're playing me week 7, congratulations. But I'm extremely happy with Joe Burrow. I'm happy with Joe Mixon. The only reason I got Joe Mixon is because whatever Amazon package maybe I bought it on purpose. Maybe I just wanted to fool y'all. But whatever package that I bought, Joe Mixon was not a sticker.
Yep.
He was not a sticker on there, so people were looking past him, and I'm okay with that. It ended up working out in my favor. I'm okay with Tony Pollard. I'm okay with CeeDee Lamb. I'm okay with Jamar Chase. You can't say anything more. I hate talking good about the Giants, but I feel like Waller is in a much better situation this season.
And he's perfect for that.
I think
He's
you guys
perfect for
picked
that
up a
offense.
really good pick with Waller. I kudos to the Giants for doing that. I don't know how Brandon Cooks is going to work out, but I mean, I've got CeeDee Lamb and Brandon Cooks, so if it's not going to one, it's going to the other. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? If it's not going to either of them, it's on the ground, and I got Pollard. So I'm really putting a lot of faith in
I mean,
two teams here.
let's be honest. Dak Prescott's throwing the ball to him, so it's probably going to the defense. But we can blow past
Ah,
that.
unless it's the Buffalo defense. I still pick up Kirk Cousins for the bye. Like I said, he's mid. He's decent. He's going to get you the same amount of points every single week. Khalil Herbert, he did good for me last season. I don't think he's going to do quite as good with at the RB1 position as he did at the RB2. I still believe in him, but I mean it's still the Bears. You can only believe in them so much. Rashad White, you never know where he's going to be. What's the Tampa Bay the technical RB1?
I think Rashad White's the technical RB1 because Fournette's not over there
Who's
anymore.
Fournette? Yeah, Fournette took a lot of that, but Rashad White came in and stole his job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we'll see how that works. Jamal Williams, I still feel good about him in a flex spot or a bye week or something like that. Debo Samuel, same. We talked about him earlier. Gerald Everett, I'm not sold on Gerald Everett, but he doesn't do bad. He's
Yeah.
not good, but he's not bad.
Well, you're not playing him over Darren Waller, so
No.
I mean you have two solid tight ends here. For your bye week, you can throw in Gerald Everett. Um, I honestly would play Debo Samuel over Brandon Cooks at this point, but I think I think you have an overall good team. Week 7 is going to suck for you, but besides that, I mean,
And
you
week
get
7 and week 13, because I think every single player in here is either 7 or 13. So I have 2 bye weeks, and that's it.
yeah. I mean, for the rest of the season, you don't got to worry about bye weeks, which
Mhm.
can play out really well.
'Cause I think the Giants are 13. Uh, I'm pretty sure that everyone's either 7 or 13. Almost everyone on this is 7 or 13 bye week. So I'm okay with that. Like I'm okay struggling for 2 weeks out of the season to not have to worry about it the rest of the season.
Yeah, I mean that's a good strategy. I mean it's a bold strategy, but we'll see how it plays out. Um, Chad, what are you thinking about this team?
I mean, I like your right, Burrow. I think the Mixon pickup is great. Even when Burrow goes crazy, Mixon still gets his yards, and he also gets a lot of those yards through the air. So he is he's a nice play. The Pollard play we've already discussed. I mean, what is CD Lamb? And I'm kind of just going off of a very vague memory of him last year. Wasn't he a 100 reception, 1,300 yard receiver last year?
Yes.
He was right.
Yes.
Yeah. So
But
I
they had
mean,
no wide receiver 2, really. I mean, they had Gallup. You know what
yeah,
I
but
mean?
CD,
So
yeah, no, but CD Lamb's starting to look like one of those receivers that it doesn't matter who's opposite of
Mhm.
him. He You watch all the Cowboy games. He looks special when he's on the field.
Yes.
Like
It's
I don't know how else to say it. Like when I watch because I always watch the Giants Cowboys games, and a lot of the Cowboys games, I have the NFL ticket anyways, so we watch every single game, right? And I see a lot of CeeDee Lamb, and I'm just like, man, he makes cuts. He's fast. He catches everything. He
speaking of
burns
week
everybody.
1, Giants Cowboys. I just had to throw that out there.
I
We
actually think the Cowboys are going to win Week 1. To be honest with you,
okay, good.
I
I
think
didn't
the
want to have to
Giants.
fight with you on it.
Yeah, no. I think the Giants are gonna figure things out around week 3. That's what I think this year for them. Um, I agree with you on the Darren Waller call.
Mhm.
I don't love that you're starting 3 Bengals, and you might change this lineup, but I just don't love that you're starting 3 Bengals and 3 Cowboys. You're relying so much on 2 teams, and you are
Mhm.
limiting it's more like you're looking for average than having a multitude of big play guys by doing that. And I think that's my only, like, I like your team. I like your bench too, by the way. For the record, I want to ask you guys a joke. It is a joke, basically, but a question. Who's the Tampa Bay's Buccaneers RB2?
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Nobody knows who it is. I think White is going to be a focal point of that offense. They still have a good offensive line.
Chase Edmonds,
No,
Okay.
he's their RB3.
He's the RB3.
Keshawn Vaughn.
No, he's not. He got cut.
I'm just reading what it says here.
Probably Edmonds will be their RB2. Which Edmonds is a solid RB2. I think White is going to control that backfield. I think he's going to be the workhorse. I think you're going to end up playing him probably possibly in your flex. I don't see him starting over Mixon or Pollard, but there's a possibility that you could put him in your flex. I mean, there's three possibilities you play your flex. You play Brandon Cooks, you play Debo Samuel, or you play Rashad White. I don't think besides that, I don't see your lineup changing as much. Like Chad said, you put a lot of faith in two teams. So
100%.
if those
I'm trying something new.
yeah, if one of those teams do bad in a week, that's half your points right there. So it's a bold move.
I like the Burrow Mixon. I like Burrow. I actually like Burrow Mixon, Chase, Pollard, Lamb. I think that is a super consistent core squad.
Well, even with the Dellen Waller there, like those six right there,
Right.
super squad. But
Yeah.
I think where your weakest is your flex
spot.
I'm gonna just call it now. I think Rashad White ends up being that consistent week in and week out flex, and I typically like receivers more, but I just feel like he's gonna be such a focal point of that offense, and they have a good offensive line. So I don't know. I just see a lot of potential. I think your team is really solid. If
Yeah.
I'm being totally honest with you,
I'm agreeing with like the A rating. Like you got 14-1. I don't
Yeah.
think you're going to go 14-1. I think this is a team that's going to go 11-3.
But
I think you're going to be top of the leaderboard here.
12-3 or 11-4 is a 15 week.
11-4. You're going to lose both games to me. So. But no, I completely
no big deal.
No big deal. I completely agree. Like you're putting all your faith. But you have that where week 7, week 13, you're done with your buys. You lose those 2 games, and the rest of the season you don't have to worry about buys.
Right.
You know what's exciting, Nick? I think for your 2 keepers, right? I think that your 2 keepers are both legitimate 100-yard, 10 touchdown, 1,500-yard receivers this year, both of them. And you're gonna get to go into next season when we're actually playing for money, and you're gonna start it off going, yeah, I have the number 2 and 4 receiver in the NFL on my team.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's go. I got guys that consistently put up scary type numbers every 2.5 weeks. So good luck beating me.
Yeah.
No, exactly. All right, so let's jump into Chad's team here in the Crazy Leagues. Chad has not set his lineup in this league, so we have to scroll down a little bit. So let's go ahead and run
I'll
over
be
your
right
team.
back.
Yeah, you're good.
Keep going.
All right,
All right,
Mosey, break down your team for us.
Yeah. All right. So I got Josh Allen as my keeper, and Justin Jefferson as my keeper.
Super solid.
Yeah, I don't actually love having Jefferson as my keeper just because there's a little bit more age there. And I got to ride him out for 3 more years, which I should be fine with. I just am worried in that 4th year, I'll get a reduced version of him where I feel like, for example, in Nick's case, right? Year 4, CeeDee Lamb and Jamar Chase are probably at their very best.
Yeah, they're peak.
Right? Yeah, like they're peaking as receivers because they have that much experience under their belt. And I believe that they were drafted the same year, by the way. I think they're both They're
20,
both 20,
21?
20,
No, 2022
20,
or 2020.
2020. Yeah, I think they're both 2020 drafts. So they're entering year 3 right now. Both of them, right? Jamar
Yeah.
Chase is entering his 3rd year. Yeah,
Third
and
year,
so is
yep.
CeeDee Lamb.
Yep.
So like, no. Is CeeDee Lamb entering his 3rd year or his 4th year?
Was he 2019? Hold on. Nick, will tell
Is
us real
CeeDee
quick.
Lamb in his 3rd or his 4th year?
I want to say 4th, but don't
He's in
quote
his.
me on it.
I think he's in his 4th. I think he's in his 4th year.
Okay, but still young.
Yeah, I want to say 4th.
Okay.
Okay, so
Please don't
right.
quote me on that. I don't know everything about the Cowboys.
No. I don't know if I'd be able to just pull that up off of about a certain player myself either. So all
2020.
right, so like
No, yeah. So
2020.
he was Jamar Chase's year.
Okay, yeah,
Mhm.
all right. So that's what I'm saying. Like I like the Justin Jefferson pick for years 1 through 3. I don't love it in year 4, just because Jefferson has a little more wear and tear on him. Now he could defy that, but who knows? I
You
took Daniel
don't think he's going
Jones.
to go like the Cooper Cup route, where he's high, and then ends up getting injured or downsizing?
I think that but I don't think that that's this year, and I don't think that that's next year. I think there's a possibility of it in year 3, and I definitely think there's a possibility of it in year 4. That's what I'm saying. I like Jefferson as a keeper, but I love Josh Allen as my keeper for the next 4 years. The fact that he's my quarterback in this league, that makes me feel good. But
Over Danny Dimes?
you know, I took Danny Dimes. Like, look, I'm gonna be honest about him, right? He runs the ball a lot. They're developing an offense based around him. That was his first year in it last year. I think that there's potential there, so I feel like he's just not a bad guy. I think he's got potential to be a top 10 quarterback point wise because of his run.
Yeah.
And I don't mind having that as my backup quarterback on my team because
Yeah.
he will forever be Josh Allen's backup. But I'm replacing him with a guy who plays in Josh Allen's offense.
Yeah,
If
exactly.
that makes sense. I don't even know why I took Jonathan Love.
Jordan.
I fucking hate J.K. Dobbins on my team.
Yeah,
But there he
that's how I feel.
is.
And the other ones that I drafted him same way.
Just to run by committee,
Yeah.
you can't really trust them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't ever have faith in the
That was the
Ravens'
best of
ability to
whatever
handle.
round you were at that time, and that's how
Yeah,
I feel.
I think I got fucked here. This is when I got fucked and I lost my draft pick and I lost basically a running back draft pick there. My ETN, I picked ETN high.
Yep.
I probably drafted him when there were what some people would consider better running backs on the board. But I also think that he's going to be a major focal. Like I said, I've already said it. I believe in him. I expect. That's my play this year. If I'm being like, a lot of how my season's going to ride is actually going to be on him because I'm relying on him to be a weekly point getter for me in these 2 leagues, and so we'll see how that plays out. Pacheco is, who knows? Nobody ever knows what's going on in Kansas City with their running backs.
RB1 though.
Well, yeah, he's RB1.
Yeah, it's another
Keep it
run by
scripted.
committee though, because like Mahomes, he'll find the way to get the ball to somebody, or he'll run it. So it's one of those situations where I mean, McKinnon's over there. Is Clyde's Edward Hilaire or whatever? Is he still there as well?
I don't think so, actually.
They were talking about cutting him, but I don't know if they did or not.
Okay, but it's still one of those situations where it's a superstar quarterback and it's a run by committee. So Isaiah Pacheco, I think he could have a breakout season. I don't see you playing him over ETN
Yeah.
or Damian Pierce here. I think Damian Pierce is a great choice. He's a young guy. I think by the end of the season, you're going to have that nasty combo of them two.
Yeah, no, and I think that's fair. Yeah, I like the play there. I like Justin Jefferson. I think that's like that's like I said, you can't go wrong with JJ. He's a top two wide receiver for the past 2 years.
Hmm.
Um, I took Deontay Johnson just because I don't know if Kenny Pickett improves this year, you know? So like it's sort of one of those plays where it's like, well, what if he does?
Yeah,
You know?
it's a good wait and see pick. I don't have any problem with the wait and see pick
Yeah.
being
Yeah.
Deontay Johnson.
And then I got Drake London, which again, right? Does Ritter is maybe Ritter gets good this year, and then Drake London's the number one guy there, and Drake London was hurt for part of last year too, so you're gonna get like a fully healthy London this year.
Yeah.
Olave is what he is. I like my two tight end picks. Again, I feel good about the Ingram did well for me last year when I picked him up. He was consistent for me. Um, and he does find the end zone a decent amount. Um, and so like I like it. And then I have the Pittsburgh tight end, and I feel like they're both relatively interchangeable with more upside on Ingram than on Freiermuth.
Yeah.
Gano for consistency. Like again, like you can see if you remember my other team, I took Gano and the Jets, and if you look in this team, I took Gano and the Jets.
Yeah.
Well,
Um,
I
you
mean,
know,
you saw Cowboys defense all the way through with mine.
yeah. So
You
I,
know
I
what you
like
know.
I like my team. I'm not in love with my team, but I'm excited for the potential of my team, if that makes any sense.
No,
Um,
100%.
I'm, yeah, like I think that my team is going to have no problem whatsoever being consistent. And I think if three of my long-term plays play out, my team becomes kind of scary.
Yeah. I think so as well. I think you have really good locks with Josh Allen, ETN, and Justin Jefferson. But
Yeah.
besides that, I think it's going to be in this almost in the same situation Nick was in the other league, where you're going to be playing the matchups at that point with the rest of your
Yep.
guys, and
Yep.
you have potential superstars. You have three solid superstars, and where you're going to be tinkering with the lineup a little bit. But I see this team as a scary team as well, week to week. I mean, just naming those three guys, Josh Allen, ETN, and Justin Jefferson, that's almost a 60-point lock every week. So then you're just worried about the next 50 points out of the rest of your guys.
Yep. I
Yeah.
I couldn't say it any better. I mean, yeah, you got a couple question marks, or how's the quarterback's going to play, or and you worry about that with everyone, honestly. You know what I mean? Justin Jefferson isn't worth anything if you've got a quarterback who can't play. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but I see a lot of question marks. I see a lot of what ifs, and I see a lot of playing matchups, which is just like my other team, and I'm excited about it. I'm
Yeah, me
excited.
too.
I'm
Me
excited
too.
about your team. As long as you're on top of it, as long as you're finding those matchups and you're trading out players week by week, I think we're going to see, you know, 6, 17 separate, or 15. It's 15 weeks,
Yeah,
15 separate teams this year.
yeah,
I don't think you're going to have the same lineup any of 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think that's super fair. I completely agree with that assessment of my team. Like that's what I'm saying. Like I look at my team and I love it, but I don't love it, but I love it.
yeah,
Hmm.
exactly. Like you love the potential you can see there, but you also know that one week you might play the wrong guy, and that can cost you a game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're
Uh,
going to your team now, Adam.
yeah.
You're at your team. Your team is fucking
My
stacked.
team is fucking stacked. So I ended
Your
up
team
with
is fucking stacked.
my keepers being Jalen Hurts and none other than Travis Kelsey. Travis Kelsey is obviously a question mark going into tomorrow, but for the rest of the season, he's not going to be a question mark. Jalen Hurts obviously speaks for himself. He's top three quarterback. I mean, if you don't have Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, or Josh Allen, which two of us have two of those guys, like you're almost at that point, you're hoping for the best. Like these guys, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, um, Jalen Hurts, you're playing them every week. I got my locks there. I was really excited with my keeps, and then we go through the draft order with Aaron Jones and Najee Harris as my RB1, RB2, similar to my other team, I believe in the Easy Dub League, I think I have Aaron Jones as well. The Najee Harris for me is a questionable one, just because like the quarterback situation over there. It's Kenny Pickett. He's a newer guy. Is he gonna try to force the ball a little bit more, or is Najee Harris gonna get his touches? Mike Evans is another question mark for me in my wide receiver core, but I believe the rest of my wide receivers look pretty goddamn good as well. Amon-Ra St. Brown, he was a stud last year. I think he's still going to be a stud. He's a young guy. Travis Kelce speaks for himself. Michael Pittman is another question mark at wide receiver that I have at the moment. But then I went and picked up Deshaun Watson as my backup. Like, he's only going to play 1 week when Jalen Hurts is not playing, essentially. We got Dalvin Cook there. I kind of went with a little bit more. I'm pretty sure I got Dalvin Cook late, maybe in like the 9th or 10th round. So I'm satisfied with that, because if he could be the Dalvin Cook in Minnesota and either back up Hall or take over the position from Hall, I think I kind of stole it there with my running back core. Miles Sanders, I'm not too sold on, but he's a guy that I'll sit on my bench. If I need him, he's there. If I don't need him, who cares? Then the rest of my wide receivers are pretty decent. Like, I feel like I could swap out any of these receivers for Mike Evans or Michael Pittman and have a solid week. We got T. Higgins, DeAndre Hopkins, and Christian Watson. I fuck with all those guys. Hopkins is obviously the bigger question mark there. But if we see the Hopkins that we know he can be, like, at that point, I'm playing 3 wide receivers every week, which I'm not mad at.
Right.
And then we go down. I got Matt Gay as my kicker, and then the San Francisco 49ers defense, bless you, that I think is going to be a solid defense. I think their potential to be a top 3 defense along with the Jets.
We'll see how that Bosa trade goes.
Yeah, we'll see how that Bosa trade goes, but I think they're another team
trade or holdout or whatever.
I think they're another team that's going to be similar to my Buffalo Bills pick, where the offense is going to be on the field so much that the defense doesn't have to be. And that's where I'm going to get my points from. So overall, I'm happy with my team. I think they rated me pretty well. What are you guys thinking?
So minus Miles Sanders. I think Miles Sanders does not belong on this roster. But I think you're in the same boat I was in the other league, where your bench is so interchangeable with every player that I don't think you're going to have a problem. I think you can play more of that matchup because you have enough depth on your bench to where you can switch out those players. Like you said, you can switch out Mike Evans for any of those wide receivers based off of who's playing well now, who's got a great matchup this week, who's it this week, who do I put in? I think you got a lot of versatility here.
Yeah,
I feel the same way. Hurts is solid, Jones is solid. Right, going back to Pittsburgh and Najee Harris, right? I think that if that team makes the leap forward this year, and they did start to look better towards the end of the year.
Yes,
Pickett, there's no doubt about Pickett looked like an improved player by the end of the year. And so if that, and Najee Harris got hurt too, so he has a full year of being healthy under his belt, right? So if that team can get better, Najee Harris might return to that 1,200-yard rusher with 10 to 12 touchdowns. Like, there is upside there. I'm not sold on it yet.
Yeah.
Until Mike Evans proves that he's done, you have to start Mike Evans. St. Brown's a monster. Kelsey's a monster. I wouldn't start Pittman, especially with them starting a rookie quarterback. I would definitely be starting Christian Watson. If I'm going for that wild card player that's going to get me a bunch of points, and based on your lineup, I would, without a doubt, no questions asked, start Christian Watson, because him and Jordan Love have already synced up in the preseason, and that's the Green Bay Packers brand new quarterback. They're gonna try and show that Jordan Love can throw the football.
Yeah, 100%.
I think that's gonna be a priority. For me, Watson is a must start week 1. To be honest with you, I just see the upside in it. Jordan Love isn't a rookie coming into play. Jordan Love's been sitting on that bench for 3 years.
Yeah.
like
They've trained him under Aaron Rodgers. I mean, you know Green Bay. They just built franchise quarterbacks. Brett Favre to
right.
Aaron Rodgers, and now to Jordan Love, who got to sit behind Aaron Rodgers, work in the system. You know, they're not putting him out there green. Like he's gotten his reps. I feel like I think at the start of the season it had Michael Pittman rated over Christian Watson as points wise to go into the matchup, but I'm gonna be swapping out Christian Watson week 1. I'm gonna leave Mike Evans in there. I think the weakest position I am at currently, besides Aaron Jones, is my running backs. Just because there's a question behind Najee Harris, Miles Sanders, he probably will never start on my team. But besides
I
that,
mean, unless he starts popping off.
it says unless he starts popping off, but like I feel safety enough with the Najee Harris, Dalvin Cook that I can swap them out and then just play wide receiver flex.
You need better running back depth. I feel like your team would greatly benefit by replacing Miles Sanders with like a more reliable, consistent RB2
Yeah.
on your on your bench there.
Well, like available right now, I mean, you got Deontay Foreman, who's I think still better. You have Tyler Algier, who's still better. Hell, you got AJ Dillon, who's still better, even though you got Aaron Jones.
Yeah, I mean that's true. Miles Sanders is one I can swap out without any hesitation. I think so. I know Travis Kelsey is questionable, right? I looked into this league and I looked at the tight ends and I didn't see anybody worth dropping. I The person I'm playing the first week, he's predicted to go 1-13. I think his first week he's predicted to barely break 100. So I feel like even if I leave Kelsey in there and he gets me 5 points, I still think he's a better choice than dropping anybody on my bench besides Miles Sanders to pick up a tight end. I think I still have enough star power on my roster that even if Kelsey doesn't play, I still have a chance of winning this week. So I'm gonna rather ride that than just go try to pick up a random tight end. Other than that, like I don't really see question marks around my team besides the Mike Evans, but I feel like I'm so deep with wide receivers that I'm going to be able to play the matchups there. Like you guys said, I think all 3 of our teams in this league we're going to be ended up playing the matchups. But I'm not mad at that. Like I'd like I like the ability to be able to question my guys and see who I'm playing based off I think is their best matchup at the time. So let's go ahead and jump into the last of the leagues that all of us, or not all of us, because Nick's not in this league, but a majority of us are in. We're going to jump into the Toxic League. So in this league, this is a league that was on last season as well. This is the reason why I'm wearing the clown outfit. I went from double champ to the last in the league. We do have a newcomer this year who's Brent. He is in the other league. No, sorry, he's not in the other league. I am in a couple leagues with him, but he ended up drafting first. He's got a projected rate as 14-0 in this league. They rated him really high. Then we got going down the order. We got Georgie, J. Ray, Chris, me. I drafted at 6th or 5th. Then we got Gabe, Justin, Renee, Jonah, and then Chad drafted in 10th place in this league. Like I said, Brent has the overall projected first. It looks like it's predicted him to go flawless. They got me going at 11-3. Chris's is flipped. He's at an A minus. He's going. It's predicted for him to go 10-4, not 4-10. And then Chad is rated at a B, but they have him only winning 4 games, which is absurd to get a B rating. I mean, we have some other B ratings on there going 8-6. I think this is another one where like matchups play a big deal with that.
Yep.
But let's go ahead and we'll jump over to that league with Brent's team. He, like I said, he's starting off the season. Like this is a newcomer to this league, to the Toxic League, and he had a pretty good draft. Like looking at his team, I was looking at his team after the draft report, and they look pretty good. So looking over here at Billy the Goat. We're just running it down real quick. We got Deshaun Watson starting. Questionable in my opinion. Josh Jacobs, Tony Pollard, DK Metcalf, T. Higgins, Travis Kelsey, Christian Kirk. He's got Jared Goff on his bench, Dalvin Cook, Deion Jackson, sorry, Alexander Madison, DJ Chark, Kadarius Toney, Jeff Wilson. His kicker is Will Lutz, and his defense is the Eagles' defense. All right, what are we feeling about on this team?
You know, it's Kelsey, Pollard, and Jacobs, and everything else for me is B plus.
Yeah, I mean, I personally don't see a 14-0 team here.
No, I think they put too much stock in Deshaun Watson, honestly.
Yeah.
Truthfully, yeah, what he once was great, and I would have said absolutely not. I would have put him up there with, some of the greatest quarterbacks that you can pick. But anymore, especially after all the scandal and this and that and missing and suspensions, I don't think he's got it anymore. Not to say that he doesn't have it at all, but he's not that extreme caliber that
There's better options available.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Definitely. And like I said, I mean, we've been through all this. So Josh Jacobs, I think he's going to do great, but not as good as last season, but not a whole lot worse because I don't believe in Jimmy G. Pollard, I think, is a workhorse. I think he's going to be great. DK Metcalf, well, which week? If it's not a Lockett week, I think you're good there. T. Higgins, I know, Chad, you don't believe in T. Higgins quite as much with Jamar Chase there, but when they get
No,
someone on
that's
Jamar
Adam. That's
Chase.
Adam.
That's me. That's me.
I have T Higgins in one of my leagues.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah,
believe in T. Higgins. I don't think
I
he's
think he's a
as
good
good
guy.
as Jamar Chase, but I think that they know that, so they're going to put more. I mean, Jamar Chase is still going to do what Jamar Chase does, but
Yeah.
they're going to put more emphasis on him, which is going to leave T. Higgins open. And, I almost see, if you're really in a pinch, I almost see also picking up Tyler Boyd for that same reason.
See, like
Mm.
that's the reason I'm not sold on Higgins that much. I don't think I think Higgins is an amazing wide receiver. I think he's going to have a great season. I don't think he's going to have a superstar season. I think they put Higgins up on the draft reports higher than he should be because of that Tyler Boyd situation. Like, if it's not going to Jamar Chase, it's either going to Higgins or Boyd. It's going to end up with, like, I think it's going to end up the same thing as last season with, like, the DK Metcalf Lockett situation, where it's one or the other. It's not going to be both because
I
Jamar Chase is getting his ball.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
he's
well,
gonna get his.
and you left out an important thing. Yo, Nixon is a heavily involved part of
Mhm.
that offense.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like, so it really is either going to Mixon or Chase.
Yeah.
and then it's fill in the blank after that. But Higgins is priority number 3 there,
He's
which
priority 2.5, I think.
right, well said. Well said. Right. He's priority 2.5. He is 1,000-yard receiver. Like, you
Yeah.
can't take that from
No,
him. You know what
as
I'm
I said, I
saying?
think he's a
And
great receiver. I just don't think the draft capital of where he's getting picked. I think there's better options of picking up a wide receiver 1 than picking up a wide receiver 2. That's like I no disrespect to T Higgins. I think he's going to have another 1,000-yard season, but I don't think it's going to be to the caliber of where he got picked. If that makes sense.
okay, so let me ask you a question. You have to pick between DK Metcalf and T Higgins. Who are you picking?
I'm taking DK Metcalf.
Okay, I think I take Higgins just because of who the quarterback is. I'll give me Joe Burrow over Geno Smith all day. Thank you.
Yeah, but DK is in Seattle. It's either DK Metcalf or Lockett. No matter what, and like we said, no matter what in Cincinnati, T Higgins is 2.5 at best. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay.
So
Okay, but
I'd rather take
here's
the
the
wide
thing though.
receiver 1 than the 2.5 at best.
Hold on, but there's no wide receiver 1 in Seattle. There's 2 wide receiver 1.5s. That's the difference.
No, and more importantly, the Seahawks are throwing for 220 yards a game. The Cincinnati Bengals are throwing for 350 yards a game.
Yeah,
right? And there has to be stock put into that too.
Geno didn't look bad at the end of the season last year, though.
He
Let's see.
looked worse at the end of the season than he did
Yeah.
early mid-season.
Yeah,
Yeah, he fell apart at the end of the season a little bit.
yeah, but the Seahawks fell apart at the end of the season.
Thanks, Gino.
I don't think it was all on Gino, but
Just, I watch a lot of Jet games, and it's just I watched a lot of Geno Smith, right? Because we would watch the Giant games and then we would watch the Jet games because they used to be on at different times. It's not the case anymore, um, but they now for sure like I've seen too much Geno Smith, and yeah, he's definitely improved, but I don't know, man. Give me Burrow's number 2 receiver over Geno Wilson's number 1 all day.
Gino
I'm sorry.
Wilson? You're combining them now?
What did I say?
Gino Wilson. That's two different
Geno
guys, sir.
Smith. I'm shot. I'm shot, bro. I'm shot.
No, this podcast is running super long. This is the last league we're going in depth in, so thanks if you guys are sticking around this long.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Other episodes are not going to go this long,
Yeah.
but
No, this is our in-depth first. Let's get it out of the way.
yeah, let's get it out of the way. But yeah, I mean, there's not much more to say about his team, in my opinion. I don't think it's a 14-0 team. Like you guys said, besides the Josh Jacobs, Tony Pollard, and Travis Kelce, I think the team after that is a big question mark. I mean, he's got Jared Goff on his bench, but I mean, I still think there's a better QB out there besides Deshaun Watson and Jared Goff. I think that's one of his weakest points. I mean, yes, could we see the Deshaun Watson of Houston Texans? But I doubt it. But there's a possibility. I think they're putting a lot more capital in Deshaun Watson than he's worth. But like I said, besides that, I see a lot of question marks, especially DK Metcalf, Higgins, Christian Kirk, with Calvin Ridley being there. Dalvin Cook's a good pickup if he does take a lot of the touches from Breece Hall. Deion Jackson, I'm not high on that. Alexander Madison, I appreciate that. Other than that, like Jeff Wilson, DJ Chark, Kadarius Toney. Kadarius Toney could be a sleeper. Like he could.
But he can't stay healthy.
Yeah, he can't stay healthy, but if he can, it could be great for them because I mean, besides Travis Kelce, who are they throwing to over there? Yeah.
Guy Moore.
Yeah. So I think there's a possibility that Kadarius Toney moves into his starting roster, which would be nice because if it's not going to Kelce, it's going to Toney. But like you said, if he stays healthy, if you guys can all agree, what do you guys giving this team a rating?
I mean, like it's a B, maybe a B plus. There's just too many weaknesses for it to be a 14-0 rank A team. I guess I just don't see it. But to me, it's like it's a solid B. I guess is what I would say.
It's a solid B. I think it's above 500 team.
B.
But it's definitely not a 14-0 team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we're gonna jump into my team here in the Toxic League. I believe I draft 5th.
God damn, Adam.
Yeah.
Bro, your team is fucking loaded. Holy shit.
Yeah, I don't know how you guys kept letting me get away with this. Like across the board, I got A ranks across the board in all my leagues. Like I don't know what was going on during this draft, but there's a lot of players that fell to me at the position that I was at that I'm happy with. There's some question marks, and we'll bring them up here shortly. But we're starting off with Tua. Like I said in the other league, I think it was Chris's team. As long as he can stay healthy, he's a solid QB1, potential to be a top 5 QB in the league. Maybe pushing it, maybe top 8. But then we got Christian McCaffrey. He fell to me in 5th, so I'll take that all day. I'm happy with that. My second RB, I'm not the happiest with. James Cook, I got sitting there, but I do have Bryce Hall sitting on my bench, so I'm happy there with my running backs, but I'm not super excited. I got CeeDee Lamb and Amon-Ra St. Brown. I'm super happy with both those. Those guys are producing animals. They're both young guys. They're going to get a lot of looks their way. I'm super happy there. Tight end, I'm not sold on Higbee. I'm honestly not sold on anybody on the Rams besides Cooper Kupp when he's healthy. But I believe in this league I drafted tight end very very late. This is a position in this league where I'm playing Taylor Higbee the first week. I'm going to see if there's any tight ends that are still available that had a really solid week that I could pick up, maybe like a younger guy. I think I forget his name off of Buffalo, but the guy that's taking over Knox's position, I have my eyes on him. But other than that, I got Amari Cooper as my third wide receiver. So right then, I think I have. I think I was looking over the teams. I think I have one of the best wide receiver cores in the league.
One, but you can't have anywhere
Dude,
close to the running back. I mean, minus McCaffrey and maybe Jonathan Taylor if he comes back.
Yeah, I mean I invested like I said I go wide receiver heavy a lot. I do have quite a bit of running backs on my bench here for that reason because I'm not confident in my RB2. I picked up Jonathan Taylor I think in the 10th round, which I was happy with because I don't have to give up draft capital for him, and like after 4 games, I don't care if he ends up on Indianapolis or somewhere else. I think he'll still be a workhorse at that point. So I swap him in there for James Cook, and then I have two solid RB1s, and then I have three solid wide receiver ones. So
Yep.
I'm happy there. We got Brees Hall. Like I said, I picked up Evan Hill after I moved Jonathan Taylor to the IR list, just because he's a rookie out there. Jonathan Taylor's not playing for 4 games. If Hull has amazing couple games, there's a possibility that a trade opens up for Jonathan Taylor. He goes somewhere else, and then I have Hull still. Jamal Williams, like I said, like a couple of you guys have him as well. I love the guy. I think he's a great running back. I think he's going to do well in their system over there in New Orleans. Like I said, another question mark around Alvin Kamara. Brandon Ayuk, I'm never sad with that. Drake London, I'm never sad with that. Those are guys I could swap in if I need them to be. If someone on my wide receiver core goes down, but they're going to be most likely riding the bench compared to the wide receivers I have starting. I got Riley Patterson in this league as well. Like I said, I think the kid's going to do good. And then I got the New York Jets defense, which we have all touched on about. I think they're going to be one of the top 3 defenses in the league. I think having Aaron Rodgers in that quarterback where they can stay off the field as much as possible is just going to make them even better. So go ahead. I mean, I was rated an A in this league as well. What do you guys see?
So I think everything. So if your running back situation was slightly different, I would agree with your A. Um, with your current running back situation, unless you make, I see it more like a B plus.
Mhm.
I think it's definitely better than the last one we looked at, honestly. But the James Cook, I steer clear. You know what I mean? Tyler Higbee, like you said, still not. Your running backs leaves room for improvement. Your tight end leaves room for improvement. Other than that, beast.
Yeah, I mean, like I think that's the positions I'm most worried about. But I got Christian McCaffrey there, so he's like an RB1+1. Like I think even no matter who I put in that RB2 spot, he's gonna make up enough points to cover that spread. You know what I'm saying? And then I got Brees Hall sitting there. Like as soon as he's healthy, I think it's just a lock. I play like it's a lock that I play everybody I'm starting with Brees Hall minus maybe Tyler Higbee, and that's like my team for the season. So I think I'm good in that aspect. But like I can agree with you. I think it's a B plus, low A minus team. I
Mhm.
see this team easily going over 500, maybe like a 10 and
Oh yeah.
4. I think in my matchups against Brent, I think I have the better overall team, which I'm happy with. I think this is a team that can make a good run in the playoffs and hopefully bring me back my 3rd championship.
Well,
And
it
this
can't
is
get
this
any worse
is
than current.
Yeah,
yeah, like this is not going to be a team that, like, as soon as I looked at your team and I saw you had McCaffrey, Lamb, St. Brown, and Cooper, it's just
And
like,
Tua.
yeah, like, yeah, and Tua to go with it. And it's just sort of like, damn, Cooper's getting you 15 points every single week. St. Brown's getting you 18 points every week. Lamb's getting you 18 points every week. McCaffrey's getting you 25 points every week. Tua's getting you 20 points every week. It's like, damn, it's just consistency where it's like, where I look at, like, kind of like you said, like Cook being your weak spot and Higbee being your weak spot. I'm more like, well, McCaffrey's kind of like 2 players, and Lamb is like 1.5 players, and St. Brown is like 1.5 players, and
Mm-hmm.
Cooper is 1.5 players. And then it's not like James Cook can't have a good game, but you'll be able to make a move at the that's the easiest position in free agency to make a move off of. So like you'll be able to find a running back to fill in, as like this season goes in, and you'll be able to piece somebody in there, whether it's Breece Hall or somebody else, just fill in the blank, right?
Yeah,
And like
or
you said,
Jonathan Taylor.
right, or JT comes back, and then it's just like, okay, now you really don't have a weak spot, and if another tight end kind of emerges as the season goes, and you're able to pick him up off the waiver wire, it's sort of just like, you're really only one guy coming back, and an unexpected upgrade at tight end away from having like a dangerously competitive team. Plus, you have the Jets defense to boot with this as well.
Yeah.
Right. So it's sort of just like, I mean, again, having McCaffrey, Lamb, St. Brown, and Cooper, just those 4 position players is like, that's lethal, dude. I mean, that's really, 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 really lethal. Like,
Yeah.
and what if Deshaun does have a good year this year, and Cooper does have 1,500 yards? Now you have who I believe is going to have 1,500 yards in CeeDee Lamb this year, and then you have Cooper with 1,500 yards, and you have St. Brown with 1,300 yards, but with 17 touchdowns, and then you have McCaffrey doing what Christian McCaffrey does. Bro, it's like the rest of your team doesn't even matter because those 3 guys are going to score you 110 points every week.
Yeah, I mean, like I got locked in really good with my running back falling to me in the 5th spot, which was insane to me. But like, I think anybody in the middle of the draft is taking Christian McCaffrey at that point. Like,
Oh yeah.
I'm happy with that. Like as being my number 1 pick. Like you guys said, I got Anthony Richardson sitting there on my bench just because like I'm playing
We'll
Tua
see what he
every
does.
week, and let's see what he does. Like if this kid comes out and be's the superstar that he's supposed to be, I'm happy because then I swap him out with Tua and I got even a more dynamic team. If I don't have to swap him out, I play him for 1 week and then we're good there. Like I got Tua for the rest of the season. So like you guys said, I'm happy besides the running back, but like I do have Jonathan Taylor here on my IR. He's gone for 4 games. I do have Breece Hall. Like we saw what he could do last year. Like I think this kid gets slotted in for James Cook, and then this, like I said, this is my starting lineup minus my tight end. See how we end up there. But like I said, I feel like this is one of the leagues where I feel most confident with my team, and I think I was more into this one because I can't be this fucking clown again. Like I don't care. I can't be this again. I can't go from back to back Super Bowl champion to yeah. So let's go ahead and jump into Chad's league. Chad's team in this league. He is not Mr. Spider. He is where are you? Fiddy's
Fiddy's
Bodega.
Bodega.
Yeah, Fiddy's Bodega.
Okay, so I'm just
Oh.
gonna start right off the bat, and I'm gonna let everyone know. I what's wild is that this is the highest ranked team that I had, and I do not like this team. Like I am not a fan of this team right now. I got Allen as my quarterback. I picked 10th in this league, which was I'll be honest with you, it was actually a struggle for me. I've never had to pick 10th before. Or like last spot in the draft before. It's actually the first time it's ever happened to me. And it was like it's a different type of drafting because by the time that you get your picks, you're just like, shit, I don't really want to draft any of these guys right now because this is my first pick.
Yeah.
And so I took Josh Allen first, and then I took AJ Brown second. I think I took David Montgomery third because he was literally the best available on the board by the time that it came back to me.
I'm gonna let you know that despite you not feeling good about this team, you don't have a bad team. I mean,
And then
I'm not sold.
it's
You
not
don't have a bad
bad,
team.
Nick. It's not bad. This is just not a team that I would draft.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
If that makes
you
sense.
don't draft championship winning teams, so that's maybe a good thing.
Yeah, maybe this is your sleeper team finally.
Yeah, I mean, hey, listen, maybe you're not wrong. I mean, look, there's good on my team, right? I have Mark Andrews, he's nice. Again,
Hmm.
Deontay Johnson, who the fuck knows? Gibbs is irrelevant. I do have Herbert on the team, and I have Marquise Brown. Who really knows what's going to happen with the Cardinals this year?
Nothing. 2 games
They're
max.
The kid,
tanking.
the kid Quentin Johnson was just like I didn't know who to pick because I was literally the last pick in the draft. So I just took the Chargers rookie wide receiver because maybe him and Herbert hit it off,
Yeah.
and then I have Freiermuth as my backup tight end, which is fine. Um, my team's good. I think I got ranked at B. And then I have Gano, and I don't have the Jets because Adam has the Jets. So I took the Bengals defense. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
I,
looking over your
I,
team, I see almost the same situation I see on my team. Your running backs aren't strong. I mean, I have a Christian McCaffrey, but besides that, like I don't see David Montgomery being that guy. I don't see Cam Akers being that guy. Jamar Gibbs is a nice little pickup there. I think he's going to end up replacing David Montgomery. I think I don't know. I see Gibbs with a lot of potential there. Khalil
yeah,
Herbert, I see some potential there. He shined last season when David Montgomery was down. I really like your tight end. Mark Andrews is one of the top two guys I mean, the second guy that you really want in that position. Deontay Johnson, like you said, question mark around his QB. Christian Watson and AJ Brown, I think you have really solid wide receiver. Your QB, tight end, and wide receivers are really good in my opinion. As for your starting, I don't think your bench is as deep with wide receivers as it
I don't think your
could have
bench
been.
is.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to be doing a lot of tinkering with this lineup.
Mm-mm.
I think besides maybe changing out your running backs from week to week, I think other than that, everyone that you have starting right now is going to be starting.
I think that's fair.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
I hate this team. I hate it. I hate it.
I
I hate
think
it so much.
I think I rate you a B, maybe going a game or two ahead of 500. I do think you're going to steal some games off some people when they have either injuries or bye weeks. I think that's going to be your strongest point. I can see you consistently putting up like 110 points. I don't think you go lower than 100 points, but I don't think you're going to have games where you're having those 130, 140 point games.
I
Yeah,
could agree with that. I was gonna say B minus.
that's where I'd put it
B minus.
personally.
Yeah.
Yep, that's where I would put it. B minus.
No, I mean, like I said, it's a solid. Like you got Gano there. He's like a lock for you in kicker. I think he's a lock for most people in kicker. The
Mm-hmm.
Cincinnati Bengals defense. I think you can get a better defense from that.
Yep.
I'm not. I've never been sold on the Cincinnati Bengals defense because I mean, just in the last 2 seasons, yeah, they win games, but they're not winning games because their defense. They're winning the games because their offense scores 45 points while their defense gives up 31. So I if I were you, I'd maybe look in to see what defenses are on the waiver wire and maybe swap that guy out. Mark Andrews is going to play every week for you, so I'm not mad about the Pratt Freiermuth sitting on your bench for when you need
Mm-hmm.
him. Because I mean, Mark Andrews is another one of those guys where he gets hurt, and when he gets hurt, that's a big draft capital that you spent on him for a position
Mm-hmm.
that is not deep. So then you're
Yeah,
in a sticky situation because you're not going to drop you're not going to drop Mark Andrews. But then there's going to be weeks where he gets 3 points, and then there's going to be weeks where he gets 25 points. You're banking on those 25 points, but there's going to be 2-3 weeks out of the schedule where he's going to get you 3 points, which is going to hurt.
Yeah. I've been hurt by that.
I've been hurt by that as
yeah.
well. I think everyone in this has been hurt by Mark Andrews, but like you said, I think it's a solid either B minus team. Josh Allen's going to do a lot of the carrying for you. AJ Brown, Christian Watson, I think those guys are going to be your studs. Those are going to be the guys that get you 60 to 70 points a week, and then after that, it's just whoever else can actually perform their matchups. So, like I said, I really like your Jamar Gibbs choice here. Like, I think by the end of or by middle season, I think he's going to be the Brees Hall of this season. I think he's going to be able to show up and get those yards for you and be able to play. I am not a fan of Cam Akers. Like the
No,
same
I,
situation with Tyler Higbee. Like I'm not happy with anybody on the Rams. Just like at this point,
mhm.
I'm not really happy with anybody on the Cardinals because it's just going to be so inconsistent over there. They may
Bro,
come
I
out.
hate that pick. I hate it. Hate it.
Yeah, I mean like
No,
Cam Akers last
I
season. Yeah, I don't. I yeah, but
uh-uh.
I see this team making it to the playoffs. I see you losing in the semifinals as per usual. I'm just kidding.
As
No.
always.
But no, I think this
Mhm.
has a potential. It has potential. Don't get me wrong. It
Mm,
has potential,
mm.
but I don't think the potential's up there as much as like you would want. And like
Mm.
over here, I'm looking at this matchup rating. They have 2 stars of Josh Allen going against the defense of the Jets, which like what?
Well, they have Jordan Love as 5 stars against Chicago, and I know, and we talked about that earlier. Like, okay, the Packers always beat Chicago, but it's a different dynamic. So we'll see.
The game's in Chicago too, and
Yeah,
that's where he's starting against the Bears in Soldier
hmm
Field.
yeah.
Yeah, they're definitely trying to erase that past.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
I
don't
don't
want to
think
be
that's a
owned
five-star
by Aaron
matchup.
Rodgers anymore. They're not trying to get owned by Jordan Love. They don't want to transfer the title over there. But
hmm
yeah, I mean, there's not really much more to say, I guess, about your team. Like, it's.
a B minus.
I think your team is a middle of the pack team.
I
hmm
think for having the 10th pick, I made the most of it. But again, this is not a team that I would want. Like
Yeah.
I'm not like I had to make like shitty decisions and I had to rapid fire them too. And it was sort of just like
Yeah, because you're picking back to
it,
back every time.
yeah, I was always picking back to back. And so it's sort of just like, all
Two
right,
seasons ago, I picked 14 out of 14.
that's the worst.
It was terrible.
Yeah,
Yeah. Like
that
you don't even have a chance, bro. Not getting one of those top 10 players, like, nah.
I'm not even a
You can't
fan. I'm not even a fan of getting like the first round draft because it's so long until you get your second pick.
The middle is great.
I've always loved the middle. So like if I can get fifth, sixth, even seventh, I'm happy with a 10-man league
hmm
because you pick again so fast that you get not the super or you get a top 5 or
Yep.
and then you get another top maybe 15.
15.
So
Yeah.
then you're starting off really good in the draft in my opinion. I I don't know. Like I said, I've never been a fan of the first overall draft pick because yeah, you're getting the number one guy out there, but then you're not picking again until 21st
Yeah.
in 20 or 20th and 21st. So like I don't know. I think you'd made the best of your situation drafting at 10th.
hmm
Besides your running backs,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It is what it is.
But the
I
fact,
did what I had to because I had to take receiver or I had to take quarterback, receiver, 1, 2, and then I had to wait 20 picks. Well, 18 picks. No,
yeah, but
19
everyone has
picks.
to wait 18 picks. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Yeah, I guess that's a good
yeah,
point.
but then they get Justin Jefferson, and then they get their next pick, the next back to back picks. So I think you made the best of your situation, but I there's potential. I see an upside, but I also
I
see
definitely see an upside. I think this would be a real easy uh, draft to be able to turn it easy. I don't think you'll be have trouble getting rid of some of those people because it's not people that you have to question like, do I want to get rid of them? Do I not? Like, I think you got a couple of decisions on there where it's easy drop,
yeah. You see
and I
someone you
think it'll be
see
easy for you to build a team.
yeah you see someone that's popping off. It's a no brainer. Like you could drop Quentin Johnson and pick that player up. Like I
Right.
don't see you not being able to like make a tough decision on like do I really want to drop this guy for a guy
Mhm.
that's potentially good. Um, But like as you're setting your starting lineup, I think your starting lineup stays the same for most of the season until you get those waiver wire choices where there's a stud that comes out of nowhere.
Hmm.
All right, so
Agreed.
we're gonna go quickly over. So I'm in two other leagues on the ESPN app. Boo! But this is the first league that I got invited to. This is House of Cards. This is the league that Brent invited me to. We're just gonna run over my team real quick. This is a 12-man league. I'm not a big fan of 12-man leagues. I really like the 10-man format. I feel like there's enough players in a 10-man league where you have a solid bench, you have a solid like lineup. I feel like once you get into that 12th man scenario, it kind of gets iffy. I drafted fifth in this league. So let's go ahead and go over my choices. I drafted Travis Kelsey obviously first. He fell to me at fifth in this league, and then I went back to back. Or then I went to AJ Brown and Devonte Smith. I've kind of invested a lot there in the wide receiver core from Philadelphia. I think they're both studs, and then I got Amari Cooper as well. So I'm really happy with the middle of my lineup with wide receivers and tight end. My running backs, I ended up with Damian Pierce, which I'm happy with. He was a stud last year. I think he's still going to continue to be a stud. Um, David Montgomery, just like the situation with Chad, I don't think he's the best, but he was one of the ones that I grabbed in case, he does good like he did at the Bears before he got hurt. I do have Khalil Herbert on my bench as well. I have Evan Hull. I picked up just in case Jonathan Taylor went onto the IR for some people, or for everybody. So I picked him up as a just in case guy. I have Anthony Richardson as my quarterback starting. I'm not sold on him, but I drafted quarterback so late that instead of picking up a known commodity like a Dak Prescott, a Kirk Cousins, I'd rather take the coin flip and put Anthony Richardson in there, and then I picked up Jordan Love as his backup. Um, I feel like they're both in the same scenario. I'm going to see their matchups week to week. I'm going to see who's doing better, and then I can swap them out as time goes. Um, and then we can look over. I got the Patriots defense, which I'm happy with. They usually have a solid defense. They're going to score you a good amount of points. I got Jake Elliott as my kicker. I'm not super sold on him. He's one of the newer kickers into the league, so we'll see how he goes. I got Michael Pittman Jr., Jahan Dotson, Rashad Bateman as my wide receiver on my bench. So I feel like this is another league where I'm solid at wide receivers, where I'm playing AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, and Amari Cooper no matter what. But if something happens where one of these guys start popping off, I don't mind changing out Devontae Smith for Jahan Dotson, for Rashad Bateman if they have a good season. And then, like I said, it'll be another league where I'm not strong at running back. I got Khalil Herbert sitting here. I got Evan Hull sitting here. So I'm not super stoked about that. I believe I had another running back that I ended up dropping for the tight end from Tennessee, which, like I said, I picked this up last minute just in case Travis Kelsey doesn't play tomorrow. But Kelsey's going to be my tight end one, so I'm happy
Yeah.
there. Um, Overall, this team, I'm not. I would say this is one of the teams that I'm not as confident with. I mean,
All
I
right,
get
so
that.
it's yeah, but but it's a 14 team league, and in 14 team leagues, I feel like everybody's team does have some holes somewhere, and I will just say you do have a solid core in Pierce, Brown, Kelsey, Cooper, and Devonta Smith too, in my opinion. And you do have Khalil Herbert. Who knows? Maybe he slots in as a running back. Like you said, we don't really. The ball's kind of out on Montgomery right now, and we'll find out if he was worth the draft pick that both you and I have both spent on him in different leagues, right?
mhm.
So I like the Jordan Love call. I like that the wild card that you took is two first year starters. I think that's kind of
Unknown
cool.
quarterbacks. Yeah.
Yeah, like because you're basically saying, you know what? It's a 14 team league. The way that you win 14 team leagues is by having guys that aren't expected to pop off for you, and you're taking a chance on, in my opinion, two good guys to do it with. Uh, I like the tight end pickup. Even the Jahan Dotson pickup isn't really like the worst pickup in the world. And Michael Pittman Jr. Right? Listen, again, we don't know we don't know how these rookies are going to do out
Yeah.
there, right? What if Richardson's really good
If
and
he pops off and Pittman's is number one, like
right? There is a lot of side. It's just your team might start out 2-2, and then I think your team really starts to either mold into shape or your team is what it is. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm either a 500 team throughout the whole season,
Yep.
or after Anthony Richardson or Jordan Love start popping off. If one of them start popping off, I think then I move to more of a ten
a
and 3.
10-6
Yeah, like a 10 and
or
like yeah 10-4.
10-4.
I
Sorry.
think I move into more of like a 10-4 team. Um,
Hmm.
like I said, this league is a little bit different. I've never played in a league where we have divisions, so they'll see how that plays out. Divisions
Oh,
may, yeah, divisions may help
it makes
me.
a difference.
Yeah, it may help me or it may screw me because like if I have a middle of the pack team, but I'm in a division where the division's
If you're in the
stacked.
AFC South,
Yeah, if I'm in the AFC South, then I'm not gonna be happy. But if I'm in a middle of the pack team and I could make it into the playoffs, I think a lot of these guys have potential to be superstars. Like I said, like my wide receiver core and my tight ends, like that's where I'm putting my banking a lot of my money. I'm hoping that one of these rookie quarterbacks, give us that Trevor Lawrence. They give us that Joe Burrow like magical season. Um, but like I said, this is the team I'm more questionable about. I'm happy with it, but also at the same point, I know there's areas where I can improve. So I'm going to be making like trade offers. There was one person in this league that went on auto draft, and they draft 10th. So they
boo.
they ended up getting not only Jalen Hurts, they got Josh Allen as well. So that's the team I play.
Jesus.
That's the team I play first week. So I'm looking to maybe give one of my starting runner or wide receivers up to try to get one of those draft capitals. And like you guys said, the Michael Pittman Jr. If Anthony Richardson pops off, that's the whole reason I picked Pittman Jr. later in the rounds than when I did, because if he does pop off, that's his number one wide receiver, and then I got a lock there. I got a guy
Yeah.
that's popping off in QB, and I got the guy he's throwing it to. So I'm happy there. But there's a possibility that this team at the end of the season does not look the same as it looks now.
Yep.
So that was the House of Card leagues, and then we're gonna go into the armchair quarterbacks. This one just drafted Sunday, and I will tell you, I
Wow.
don't know how I ended up with this team. Uh,
What the
there
fuck, bro?
there
Jesus
Ow.
Christ.
there was some people I think drafting with their eyes closed. Um, so we're gonna go ahead and just look over this team real quick. I got Trevor Lawrence as my starting quarterback. I'm fucking happy with that. I got Austin Eckler. I picked sixth in this league. So I got Austin Eckler as my first round. Then I got
You got
Stephon
Eckler
Diggs.
at You got Eckler at
I got
6?
Eckler at sixth. Travis
How many
Kelsey,
how many people are in this?
10 man league. And
Because
Jesus.
so
this is looking a lot like my draft that I have up on my other screen here. But I was in a 12-man league.
yeah. So this is a 10 man league. I draft at sixth. And so the overall number one went Travis Kelsey. And then people started like, no, sorry. Overall went Justin Jefferson. Then it went Jamar Chase. Then it went Kelsey. Then it went McCaffrey. And then someone at fifth picked up someone random. And then Eckler just fell to me. So I was like, thank you.
Yeah,
Then
I'll take that.
on the back end, I took Stephon Diggs, locked in those positions. On the third round, I picked up Joe Mixon, which I'm happy with. Then I ended up with Calvin Ridley in the fourth round, which again I'm happy with. Uh, I believe I got Christian Watson in the fifth round, which I mean Like we've all talked about this kid. He's going to be a stud as long as Jordan Love can get him the ball. I picked up Trevor Lawrence a little early. I picked him up in the 6th round just because I wanted to lock in that Trevor Lawrence Kevin Ridley duo. I think that's going to be nasty for this team. I ended up getting Dallas Goedert in like the 10th round, which I mean, in the 10th round for arguably maybe one of the top 5 tight ends of the season, in my opinion.
Not arguably, definitely.
Definitely. Okay.
Mhm.
So, and then I ended up drafting the Jets in probably the 14th round, which
Jeez.
I just kept seeing like all the defenses still on the table. And I was like, I'm just going to put the Jets in my queue. If I see defenses start coming off the board, I'm grabbing them next. And then I just kept drafting. Like, there were so many players that I saw on the board where I was like, why are you still here? So I'll just take you instead of grabbing the Jets defense. I got Jake Elliott again as the kicker, who I'm happy with, unknown commodity, but I think he's going to do well. I think Philadelphia's going to be in the red zone a lot. I think they're going to be scoring a lot. So even if he's getting me those extra points, I'm happy with that. We got Drake London, Jashawn Dotson, George Pickens on as my and Quentin Johnston as my wide receiver benches. So there's a lot of potential there of trades to get some better players, but I think those guys are solid. I feel like I could start any of those guys in my flex spot with, or
Oh,
if I'm not
100%.
starting Christian Watson, and be happy with it. My running backs, besides Austin Eckler and Joe Mixon, are going to be Brian Robinson Jr. and Jarek McKinnon. I don't see either one of them ever starting over the 2 guys I have. They're production guys. Like, I don't understand how this league let me get Eckler and Mixon, but I'm not arguing it because, I mean, this makes some fucking money. And then again, I went with the known commodity, or the unknown commodity, Anthony Richardson, because like I said, if he does pop off, I'm happy I have him. If he doesn't pop off, then we're good. I got Trevor Lawrence.
Hmm.
Hey,
Right,
go
he
real
might be
quick.
good trade bait.
Huh?
Click on standings at the
Standing.
top there.
Uh-huh.
Okay, then final projection standings off to the top right. No, keep far right.
Yeah.
Yep. Where are you at?
They have me right now in 8th.
Yeah, I don't get that.
I don't
Yeah.
think ESPN actually like updates that until the first week,
No, they
because
do because
in my other
trades.
in my other league they have me as 8th as well.
Anyways,
I don't know.
Anyways,
I don't see how this team is an 8th team.
well,
it's not.
I'm gonna show you. So I'm gonna show you my team real quick before we
Yeah. But like,
get off
I
here.
mean, we could just real quick look at I don't know.
Your
Like,
team is not an eighth place team.
no, my team is a top 3 team any day of the week, and it's
Hmm.
not going to be 3rd.
Yeah,
But yeah, let's just jump over to yours. Are you going to go ahead and share your screen?
yep.
All right.
I think you got to get it out, and then let's look at this one.
Yeah, I don't know how I got that team. To be honest, that's the team I'm most confident in.
Did I figure it out first time?
You got it. First
Woo!
time. Let's go,
All
baby.
right, so you see here. So do you have that your last team up on the screen still?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, so look, Trevor Lawrence.
Yep, Trevor
You had
Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence, Eckler. So
Eckler.
I'm ranked 10 out of 12 with Trevor Lawrence, Austin Eckler, Aaron Jones, AJ Brown, Jalen Waddle, Dalton Schultz, P Ryan, which I'm okay with. Um, I went Cowboys all across the board this year. I don't feel like dealing with anything else. Graham Gano. I think Adam Thielen's going to be the man in Carolina. Jonathan Taylor, when he comes back, is going to be great. Or not. We talked about it.
Yeah.
Zay Flowers, we'll see how that goes this year. We'll see what OBJ takes from him. Hunter Renfro, great bye week. And then I picked up Jordan Love and Kyler Murray because I didn't know who to go with. So I was like, well, screw it. They're both available. Let's take them both.
Well, the nice thing there
And
is
then,
that you could put them both into the IR and then pick up 2 other
right.
players.
And then I picked up Deuce Vaughn because I want to see what this kid's all about.
Hey, I mean, looking at like you're almost in the same situation as I am with your starters. Like it's ridiculous how what order did you draft? Like what draft pick did you have here?
6.
Sixth. So you ended up in the
6
same
of
like
12.
so 6 of 12, and Austin Eckler fell to both of us in six. So it's kind of
Yeah.
ridiculous. Like I don't understand why people are sleeping on Eckler.
So I
Like
think this was 6, 12, or 6, 12, 18, 24. I think Trevor Lawrence I took next. I honestly want to say I might have taken Jonathan Taylor, then Dalton Schultz. I think I was up here, and then I had someone else. I just traded out for Deuce Vaughn today because whoever I had, I can't even remember their name. That's how not important they were.
no, I mean
But
I think you're almost in the same scenario I am. Like it's crazy how these draft picks fell to us at the position that we were at. Like, but we're gonna take them all day. Like they have you. Like I said, I don't think. I don't know. I'm not a fan of. This is my first year playing on the ESPN app. I think our first year in the league we played Yahoo, and then we've been NFL app ever since. So I'm not a big fan of the ESPN. I did not like the way they have their draft set up, but I am a fan of my teams in those leagues. So
oh yeah. So I mean, you're
Yeah.
seeing I'm 10 here, right? Let me just click on. Let's see if I can't real quick. This is number 1 projected. So Justin Fields, Josh Jacobs, Kenneth Walker, Justin Jefferson, Garrett Wilson, George Kittle, Deontay Johnson, Steelers defense, and Jason Myers. I mean, they got Michael Thomas down here. They got Darnell Mooney. They got Kadarius Toney. Like they got a good on the bench, but I don't think that's overall a crazy. I don't think that's a number 1, and mine's 10.
yeah, I don't think that's a number one. There's a
I
lot
don't
of
see it.
there's a lot of gaps in there, like the Kenneth Walker, the Garrett Wilson, the Deontay Johnson. There's a lot of question marks there.
Well,
Besides Josh,
Kittle week to week.
yeah, I mean Kittle as well. Like at this point, like how often is he gonna get the ball with the lineup they have over
Hmm.
there? Justin Fields, Justin Jefferson, and Josh Jacobs. I think that's a lock for them. But other than that, I don't see this team. I don't see this team like much past 500.
Yeah, that's they're projected to get number 1. So
Yeah,
we'll see what happens.
ESPN's wild. ESPN's fucking wild.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just not seeing it. You're nah.
Yeah.
I don't.
Well, we'll see what happens,
Like,
man.
like I can pick apart this team so easily right now. I just don't like. Again, this is what I don't understand about these rankings. It's like, how are we all in disagreement with a lot of those rankings?
I'm
Like,
trying.
make like you don't, like all three of us are like kind of on the same page with
Mhm.
everything right now, and like I just feel like this is not a number 1 ranked team. Like Fields, I expect him to do good. Jacobs is Jacobs, but like Walker, nah. JJ is what he is. Garrett Wilson's a monster. There's a chance he has a crazy year, but Kittle question mark, Deontay Johnson question mark, Sarah's question mark, and then his bench. He doesn't even have a tight end on his bench.
She.
Okay,
She.
she doesn't even have a tight end on her bench, and outside of that, it's just Michael Thomas. Like even look at projections. Swift
Mhm.
projected under 10. Mooney protected under 10. Mooney protected under 10, and there's potential there. It's just that like there's still work that needs to be done to this lineup, and
Yep.
I'm
Yeah,
not feeding into
this is
the A
another
ranking.
this is another one where at the end of the season, this team's not going to look this.
Oh no.
Right. This is a strong B plus though. Like don't get me wrong. I don't want to like take away from it. I
Mhm.
just I wouldn't even rank it as an A minus. I mean, so to hear it got an A just
I
doesn't.
feel like, and this is I don't know if I don't know if I'm being biased. I feel like my draft was better than this draft.
Light years.
Light years.
I would take if someone put those two teams in front of me and said which one are you keeping, I wouldn't even think twice. I would just take your team.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean, I'm looking at the quote unquote number one in our league for that other one that I just showed you guys. So he's got Justin Herbert starting. He's got Travis Etienne, Alexander Madison, CeeDee Lamb, Jalen Waddle, Travis Kelsey, Jacoby Myers, Steelers defense, Daniel Carlson. Then he's got Ayuk.
Put it back up.
Oh
Start
yeah,
the
yeah,
stream again now.
yeah. Let's just throw it back up real quick. Like I see, like same thing with that one. I see the potential, but I don't see this. I There's other teams in this league besides mine, and I could go to them real quick. But there's other teams in this league besides mine that I think that are better than this team out the gate.
I would take your team over this team.
Yeah, I think 90% of fantasy football players will take my team over this team. Like if we could look over real quick.
This is a strong team though.
It's a strong team. Hold on, let's see. It's a strong team, but besides
Herbert,
like
Etienne, Lamb, Waddle, Kelsey. I don't like the flex play at all, and the bench is pretty underwhelming as well.
yeah,
But
he doesn't have a strong bench, so he's playing these guys every week. But I don't know,
yeah,
like he has like the potential's here. I I mean, besides the Kelsey, CD Lamb, Herbert,
Waddle.
Waddle, I don't know. Like ETN, yes. Madison, I don't think so. And then the rest of his bench, like who does he who does he play if one of these guys go down?
The waiver wire.
The waiver wire? Yeah.
yeah,
Like we just said with that last team, like this team is not going to look the same if one of these
Hmm.
guys get hurt. Because you're gonna if one of these like if CD Lamb gets hurt, then you only have Waddle, Jacoby Myers, and
Hey, you watch your mouth. Pick a different player.
if CD Lamb dies on the field, I'm just kidding.
oh my god,
Then we'll have a new champion.
New champion, champion. But yeah, I mean, we could look at real quick this team, this team here. He's in almost the same situation. Like he drafted, I think he drafted fifth, and I drafted
It's a
seventh.
lot of Arizona.
A lot of Arizona, but we got Christian McCaffrey, we got Nick Chubb. He's fucking stacked at running backs. He's got DK Metcalf, DeAndre Hopkins is question mark. He's got Kittle question mark as well. James Conner. I mean, he's a known entity, but how good is Arizona going to be this year? Geno Smith, I'm not happy with, but I think just this core right here is better than that team that they're rating number one. I
I
don't
think
know.
your team. I'd still pick your
I
team over
I,
this team.
I disagree. I would pick your team over both teams. I would pick the
Mhm.
other team that isn't your team over this team.
Yeah.
I don't really love this team. I mean, yeah, he's
Out
stacked
of
at
the three
running
you've
back.
showed us, I think this is third.
You think this is third?
Yeah,
Actually,
yeah.
let's look at Chris's team real quick. I hate that guy. Actually, is Chris Game of Throws? No, Chris is not Game of Throws. Chris is Loose Passes. Oh.
I see what he did there.
Yeah,
Passes.
I mean this is another solid team too.
Yeah, I would take that team over the last two you just showed us.
Yeah. Yeah, Burrow,
Except for Cam
Hill.
Makers, drop him.
I think everyone's across the board just drop Cam Makers. But like
Yeah.
he's got good running back depth. I mean, besides his tight end, I don't see a big. I mean, I would change out his defense. We discussed this before, but
Yeah.
like I think there's better teams than they rated the number one. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I
ESPN's
agree.
weird.
I agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
We'll see how the
Yep.
season plays out.
Yeah, we'll see.
Chris needs Cup to stay healthy for him to have a good year.
Yeah, but I mean, just like
Yeah.
these guys right here. Like if all these guys are healthy, this is a caliber or championship
Hold
caliber
on.
team.
You accidentally hooped Tyler Higbee in there.
Uh,
There you go.
sorry about that. These guys. Yeah. Don't look at these guys. Just kidding. But like his depth is fucking nice at running back. Like whereas like
Yeah, it's disgusting.
he can, you know, someone's running back goes down, he could replace his tight end and give somebody a running back. You know what I'm saying? Whereas like
Mhm.
if someone's wide receiver goes down, I can upgrade positions. Like it's more like I'm looking at these these two teams as they're playoff caliber teams with the possibility of changing out the pieces they need to, because other teams will need players that are on the bench.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. This league, man, I'm excited for this league. I think it's gonna be nice to be blowing out people every week.
Yeah,
But
you like blowing people.
oh my god,
Yeah.
hey yo.
Ow.
All right, so this podcast has gone extremely long. We had a lot of things
Yes.
to
No,
go
it is
over.
1:43 in the morning for me right now.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it won't be that long every week. This was our long one. Last year we went 2 hours and we had less leagues.
Yeah,
So
we had less
I
leagues.
think you would have been better off in the draft with that clown outfit. It would have been less long for you to have to wear it.
Very true. But like as a
I
true
appreciate
clown
you
of
taking it
last
like a
season, we're here. I'll go ahead and throw my nose back on to say the outro. But any closing notes before we go?
no. I mean, I think we said it all. I think we said 3 hours worth of don't laugh at him, Chad. Jesus.
Honk,
It's
honk.
Okay, hold
fucking
on. Am I
great.
am I, am I pointing at him now on your screen, Chad?
Yeah, you pointed at me on my screen. So-
Okay. Don't laugh at
It's
him, Chad.
fucking great.
well,
He's taking a picture.
I'm glad that we got some entertainment out of this. And if you guys stuck around for the whole 3 hour draft that we ended up shitting on your team, I'm
Chad
sorry.
will pay each of you $20. All you gotta do is say the magic word. Chad, what's the magic word?
Nick.
Yep, say my name. Chad will send you $20 for sticking around this long.
There's an asterisk.
Heyo.
He said dick. I'm just kidding.
Oh, okay. Same.
All right. Well,
Yeah,
thanks.
that's it. Just type Nick in the comments. That's the only way that this will happen. That means that you listened to all of this fucking shit for 3 hours.
3 hours, you listen to three guys that know a little bit about fantasy football, talk shit about other people's
And
teams.
one of them was dressed as a clown the whole time.
Honk, honk. Well, we appreciate.
And one of them literally had a pile of manure sitting behind him.
Those are Pokemon cards.
But we appreciate you guys sticking with us. If you guys did stick with us to the end, like I said, this is going to be a longer episode because we had to go through all the draft orders. Next week's episode, we'll go back into here and we'll all see how our teams did, see if there's any upsets, and see if there's any injury reports we have to come up with. I mean, we're going to be doing this throughout the whole season, so hopefully you guys ride with us, and we appreciate you guys' time. Anything you guys want to say to the fans before we leave?
Yeah. So by the time this airs, good luck tonight on the season starter, season opener, week 1.
Mm-hmm.
Hope y'all do well.
And we
Good luck
hope
to everyone.
We hope Travis Kelce plays. Everyone have a great night. We appreciate a great day and enjoy some Thursday night football. You guys have a wonderful day, and we'll see you later.